Welcome back to another edition of Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Full Monty for you today, and we got a lot to get into. Of course, we'll talk about the NBA. You may have an unprecedented NBA Finals. Certainly, so far, the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals, a little bit underwhelming. We'll get into it, break it down for you. Also, Carmelo Anthony retiring. We'll talk about his legacy, what that means. Brooks Koepka wins the PGA Championship. Texas baseball, Hard told y'all, forget about them damn panic buttons at the beginning of the season. The man knows his hard ball. Texas baseball, where they share the Big 12 title. Texas softball keep their winning ways going as well. And when you're beating them Aggies, that's always a beautiful thing. We'll get into that too. Also, we'll talk college football, 25 toughest schedules in college football. We'll also get into predicting the college football players on the new EA Sports video game that are going to be the best, and some Longhorns might be on their list as well. We'll also get into a couple other news notes and nuggets from around the sports world. We'll talk about some NFL news notes and nuggets. NFL changing their quarterback rule. I think it's a smart move by the NFL. All of that and more. Before we do, let's introduce you to the rest of the crew. He was a second-round pick for the Montreal Expos, but a first-round pick for the Austin Radio Network. He originally committed to the University of Texas, but decided to forego the 40 acres and chase his dream in the cheese. Pimping ain't easy, but for this man, it's a breeze. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Hardball Harge. What's going on, brother?
Man, it's a beautiful week. We had a very, very exciting weekend all around the 512 area. I was excited to be out watching games, and it is fun when you win. Let's just say that. It is a lot more fun when you win. But let me talk about my man that sits across from me. He hails from H-Town with the Get Down. He's a lifetime Longhorn and a proud card-carrying member of DBU. Legendary lifetime and now College Football Hall of Fame Longhorn, Derek Johnson said he was the best cover corner he had ever seen. He's a former NFL DB that still has that passion for film study, but he's not a fan of white condiments. But, of course, he is a fan of you, the listeners. He is my man and yours, Rob Babers.
I appreciate that intro as always. Gets sweeter and sweeter every time. Let's not waste any time introducing the real MVP, one of the hardest working members of the ARN family. He's got a hustler spirit, period. We don't know what he's paid. We do know the man is underpaid because it is Patrick Davis, y'all. What's up, Patrick? Also, the man that tried to warn us about them damn Lakers. He tried to warn us about the Lakers, but we didn't want to listen. We wanted to go with the GOAT, all right? But he told us, yeah, every GOAT has its day, and this ain't going to be the day for LeBron. What's going on, Patrick?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Shout out to Mark Henry. Also event this weekend, the Big Lift. I went out there on Friday. It was a great time. They raised a bunch of money for the USA weightlifting, and congrats to Mark Henry for winning the Strengthening Humanity Award at the event as well. Yeah. Congrats to that. List, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Mark Henry is on that list now.
Oh, wow.
That's it?
That's it.
That's the only recipients.
They started last year with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Mark Henry is year 2, so
man,
it's a heck of a list to be on.
I was gonna say, who's this jabroni that's gonna be number 3? That's gonna be a hard. You gotta search worldwide to try to. It's an international award. You gotta search worldwide to try to figure out number 3 that's gonna be more impressive than Arnold Schwarzenegger and my man Mark Henry. So congrats to Mark Henry. So great event. I heard Chad talking about it.
Yeah,
too,
it was awesome. Chad did a great job hosting it as well. So it was a lot of fun over there.
There you go. So good stuff there, and shout out to my man Mark Henry. He's always doing big things, and a lot of those are good things as well, trying to make sure that he helps out the community. All right, you can be a part of it. You're part of our community. Specs Text Line is the best way to do it. 512-337-3776. That's the number to the Specs Text Line. You can also do it via the Twitterverse. My man Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. Patrick Davis at It's Patrick Davis, and I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. So we'll get to Texas baseball coming up next segment. Also, we'll briefly get into Brooks Koepka winning the PGA Championship. He's separating himself from the pack, it would seem. Yes, he is a live guy, so I know a lot of you out there don't like that. We'll get into that and also pick Harge's brain about Texas baseball. But you're also going to talk Texas baseball in your Hard Knock Life at 4:30.
I am going to talk a lot of Texas baseball, the trials, the tribulations, and the success that we talked about at the very beginning of the year, and we'll get into it.
Yeah,
because there's so much to be impressed about with this team, and the expectations was rebuild.
Yes,
that's
exactly
what everybody's thoughts were. And I remember at the very beginning of the year, I even said this: I don't know about this team yet. I don't know. And this was before they went to Arlington, and they ended up losing those 3 games. But there was something about the team, and there was something that I saw across the Big 12 that I said, let's not count these kids out yet. Let's see what
we
happens.
asked you about the panic button, and
Yeah,
you
I was like,
insisted,
don't even need it.
Don't bring no panic button here. All right, you said you would let us know when we needed a panic button.
Know.
You never told us we needed one, and apparently, I'll say you're right about that. It's a really remarkable run for Texas here because I don't think. I mean, I'm sure there were some Texas baseball fans, loyalists, that saw it coming, but I don't think a lot of people on the outside didn't see Texas making a run to get their share of a Big 12 title this season. But give Coach Pierce and give that team a ton of credit. We'll talk about that coming up next segment. All right, gentlemen, let's start with these NBA playoffs right now because, man, it is I am dumbfounded to looking at both of the teams, the Celtics and the Lakers, both down 3-0 in these series, and for different reasons, of course. I think we should start on the Eastern Conference side of things, guys. Because what the Miami Heat are doing, it's a lot more remarkable than what Denver is doing to the Lakers. As Patrick told us, a lot of people expected, and we discussed it even on the show, Denver's a better team than the Lakers.
Yep.
I just expected the GOAT and AD to be the great equalizers, the difference makers. I was wrong about that. Now eat that crow, put some hot sauce on it. No big deal. But the Eastern Conference side of things, with what Miami's doing right now, with that 128-102, I'm talking about blowing out Boston.
Blowing them out.
Like basically taking away their will in Game 3. And then forcing them to submit.
Basically.
In a Game 3.
Yeah.
When you're down 2-0. I mean, I don't even, if you're Boston, we've seen a lot of teams here in this offseason make moves because they're dissatisfied with where they are, I guess, in the championship conversation in the NBA. Whether you're talking about the Suns, they made a move. The Bucks, they made a move.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're Boston now and you watch this 8 seed Miami just whip these Celtics and whip them so bad that, like I said, they forced them into it seemed to me like they were submitting in Game 3. We'll see, but it looks like Celtics already on vacation. Man, I guess the first question is, what's the plan going forward for Boston?
Prayer.
Well, not in this series. The series is over.
Yeah.
The series is over. It's done. No team has ever come back in the history of the NBA from down 0-3 in a series. I think it's an 149 3-0 series, and no team has come back to win. Just 3 teams have come back to force a Game 7.
Right.
It's not going to happen here. I'm just talking about kind of the macro for Boston. This is humiliating. It's humiliating for Lakers too, but Lakers on a different end because that's a 1 seed versus a team that was in the play-in. So on the grand scheme of things, it's a different discussion. This is an 8 seed whipping up on the Boston Celtics and got them down 3-0.
And the thing about it is, you talked about the Lakers and where they were, but the fact that Boston, who everyone thought was going to be the team to beat initially, they came out, they played well. I think at one point they had the best record in the NBA. They were out there balling. Mm-hmm. And then it just seems like they play stagnant basketball. They wait for Jason Tatum to go, and they don't move the ball around the perimeter or inside. And I know basketball has turned into you let your stars go and then you adjust after that. But at the end of it all, the way you look at this team and the way that they've gone about it, they have to figure something else out. And moving forward, you already know that Jaylen Brown is probably going to be the one that wants to leave the quickest because I think that he wants to be a star somewhere. And he's going to warrant that money. He made all NBA teams, so he's a max contract kind of guy now. But it just seems like at the end of this all, it seems like there's a rift in the locker room and there's things that are going on that are away from what we can see. You can even see it by the way Marcus Smart is playing. Marcus Smart is not playing smart at all. He seems like he's out of control. And this whole thing with the new coach and if they're going to be able to follow each other, I saw a thing too, and I don't know if I sent it to you guys, that the coach for the Boston Celtics got knocked out of the NCAA tournament by Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, when he was at Marquette, he was at West Virginia, and Marquette knocked West Virginia out of the playoffs, in the NCAA tournament, and he was on that West Virginia squad.
Postseason Jimmy.
He's here, baby.
Postseason Jimmy, baby.
He's here.
Yeah.
And he continues to dominate, and when the going gets rough, that's when Jimmy gets better. Like some people fold. Some people can't handle that kind of pressure. Jimmy thrives on that type of pressure.
Yeah.
And it's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, let's put and this is like we knew the Celtics were a young team last year. They're still a pretty young team when you talk about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum as two of your main guys that are in there, the guys who need to be leading. And Mazzulla has completely failed. 100% completely failed as a head coach in the playoffs. And you just said it. He's a year older than Jimmy Butler. He's 34 years old. So I don't know why you hired a really young coach to try and lead a really young team and thought that when the going got tough that they're all going to figure it out. It seemed like a mistake. We've seen there's enough good coaches getting fired this year. You can fire a bad one. He does not deserve to be a head coach. At least what we've seen this, because he's made no adjustments. He's not done anything to change up what's happening. And when you look and you see how bad Jaylen Brown has played the last couple of games, to not go, hey, this is Jason Tatum's team. Give Jason Tatum, have him take 40 shots a game. I don't care. He's our only hope is if Jason Tatum becomes what he can become. And we don't think Jaylen Brown's going to do it because he's showing no signs. No. And it's not like Jason Tatum's playing great, but at least just go, fine. We need to have the ball in Jason Tatum's hands every single play. If he's not touching the ball because Jaylen Brown's coming up and he wants to prove that he's the guy and he's not proving it, then put him on the bench.
Yeah.
At this point, you're getting destroyed, and you just keep doing the same thing. Like, well, when it turns around, we're the better team. When it turns around, you go, you can't say you're the better team when you're down 0-3.
No, you can't say that. It feels like, and I'm with you.
We would have won if I'd have made shots. That's what that sounds like.
Sounds like you shoulda, woulda, coulda. You shoulda, woulda, coulda, mofo. That's what the coaches used to say.
No, man, you just got lucky and hit all those shots on us. No, that's how basketball works.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, the Boston Celtics will have big issues. Maybe it's as simple as they need a new coach. It could be that simple. Some teams, well, a lot of teams seem to be going just that route. But, man, flipping over to what Miami's doing, give you some stats about how just unprecedented.
Suffocating this is?
Yeah, just unprecedented Miami's run is. They're the first 8 seed to win a playoff game by 25-plus points. Since they've been keeping track of it since 1984, I should say, since they got the most modernized version of their these playoffs and its stats since 1984, I should say. They also they've won 3 straight games as an underdog in the conference finals. That hasn't happened since the Rockets did it versus the Showtime Lakers in 1986.
And those are big numbers, too, by the way, that they're been underdogs at, too.
Yes, to your point, over the last 35 years, there have been 197 playoff series where a team was plus 400 or higher as an underdog. The Heat are the third underdog, plus 400 or higher odds to win games 1, 2, and 3.
Amazing.
It's crazy.
It's amazing. It's staggering.
And by the way, 2018 Boston was plus 415 versus the 76ers and did it. So,
yeah, they got history.
They
got history.
Yeah.
And this time they're on the wrong side of it. I'm more impressed with, take away whatever Boston, whatever moment you want to take from them. Say it's a disappointment. It's more impressive to your point about the numbers, how the Heat have gone about it. And we talked about the undrafted players. Think about all those undrafted players that are on that Heat team and what their contributions are. That's good coaching, good chemistry, and they are following the attitude of their leader and making things happen.
They have, I believe, in their heavy rotation of guys, they're at, and you guys let me know, they're at 9, I believe, in their just rotation of players. And they have more, if you kind of look at it, it's kind of just guys that have played, but they have more undrafted players than lottery picks.
Right.
I mean, they got, because Bam Adebayo, K Love, Cody Zeller, those are their lottery picks on the team. But Kyle Lowry is 24th. Jimmy Butler was 30th. And then you got the guys that Hard is referring to, the undrafted guys. Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, Max Struss, those guys, undrafted guys. And those guys in Game 3, 29 points for Gabe Vincent, 22 points for Duncan Robinson, undrafted guys. Struss had 10 points, Caleb Martin had 18. They essentially carried the day in Game 3. Playoff Jimmy was quiet, actually. Games, he was relatively quiet.
Those guys outscored Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
That's – and like you look at a Duncan Robinson and you get This is a guy who was basically written off as they gave him that big contract, and he was never going to be at the same level again, and he just got paid. And, oh, well, we had a good run with him, but he got his contract. And Eric Spoelstra has been able to bring it out of him and get him to come back and play at a high level again when they really, really need it, when Tyler Hero went out.
That's what I say. When Hero went out, that's when
you almost forget that he went out.
That made him worthy again, because they needed a guy that can stroke the basketball from far. And Duncan Robinson, to his credit, kept working, kept showing up every day, kept putting his time in, and then boom, he gets out there and gets his opportunity, and he's lighting it up. And to Patrick's point about the numbers, Jason Tatum had 14 points and Jaylen Brown had 12 points. Marcus Smart, Al Horford, and Derek White combined for 25 points themselves. Combined for 25 points. That tells you everything that you need to know about this series and how this is probably this will go down as one of the worst series in Boston Celtics history. I don't think Boston, have they ever been swept?
I'm sure they have, because there was a lot of years in there.
By 8 seed?
Yeah, that's
Have
right.
they been
that's
swept
right.
by an 8 seed?
I know,
don't
because they were
think
a 1
so.
seed when they were getting swept.
Yeah.
So the 8 seed thing is just crazy, and we know that, and Patrick always breaks it down, like they basically that shifted at the end of the season.
Yeah, so they were a 7 seed,
Yeah.
and then they lost that first playing game to Atlanta, which Atlanta was the 7 seed, and Miami went to the 8 seed. So technically they're a 7 seed.
But
That
still,
doesn't make that much of a difference
I'm with you.
where you're beating a 2 seed this badly.
this badly.
You've knocked off the 1 seed. You've now are destroying the 2 seed.
How many coaches they gonna get fired?
I mean, they're
going
gonna.
I know. They're getting everybody fired. They're getting everybody.
The good news, I think
the pink slips.
the good news, I think Michael Malone's safe.
yes, that's a good point about that. But it is unbelievable. You know what? Let's talk about the coaching, because Eric Spoelstra, seems to be the playoff season where he is getting his flowers. He's going to get his respect, especially we assume they're going to make it to the finals. Obviously, when they get to the finals against the Nuggets, also an assumption, but a safe one. They're going to be a heavy underdog.
Yep.
To the Nuggets.
Yep.
So the Nuggets look like the best team on the planet. We'll get into them too. Man, and you're talking about right now Eric Spoelstra leading a team that, like I just gave you the stat, in their rotation, they have more undrafted players in heavy rotation than they do lottery picks.
Yep.
Which is, I don't know the last time.
It's unprecedented.
There's no way we've seen a team like that in the finals. I'm sure we can go look. I'm sure there's been a team that's comparable, but it is going to be.
It was
very
before
rare.
the modern day NBA, though, where everybody bounces from team to team. You're getting guys that have a lot of success and experience that are probably higher draft picks that go to different teams. But, like, this is self-constructed. Like, they went and found a lot of these guys.
Yeah, and I mean, but if you look at Spurs teams that were built that way, that they weren't undrafted, a lot of them were second-round picks. And guys, so like a year, Manu Ginobili was the second to last pick in the draft. Tony Parker was the last pick in the first round. You get a Steven Jackson that came in it was cut, but it was a second-round pick. Like, guys like that were on the team a lot. Now you had Tim Duncan, and Jimmy Butler is what sways everything, because Jimmy Butler was also not, like, the guy.
Right.
And he's been on multiple teams, and now he's the guy. But there's teams that are championship built because everyone on that team is built in a we want to win mode, as opposed to how the Celtics are built of a lot of guys who we see where I'm the guy. I've been the guy since I was 5 years old. I've been the best player on every single team, and so get me the ball. And we see that with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and a good coach can get them to work it out and get them to coexist, at least for the playoffs, to go, hey, man, this guy's hot hand. Let's roll with him tonight. Let's go with this. Let's move without the ball, try and pull defenders. We can't shoot 1 for 14 between our 2 stars from three-pointer. If no one's hitting threes, drive to the buckets. I get Bam Adebayo's in there. You have to shoot. Just shoot mid-range. Just get some points. We can't have so many empty possessions.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
very true.
And I'll say this about Spoelstra because, like I said, what he and Pat Riley is doing, because that's the kind of think tank, if you will, for the Miami Heat. And I'll give you a couple of stats, just about Spoelstra and about Pat Riley. How about a Pat Riley stat for you? So if they end up getting to the finals, which safe assumption, 19th appearance in the NBA Finals for Pat Riley as a player, coach, or executive. 19. I said that basically would mean that he's either played in, coached in, or been his team's top decision maker in damn near 25% of all the finals in NBA history. Isn't that crazy?
That's a hell of a stat.
Isn't that
That's a nugget right there.
What?
Pat Riley is he's like him and Jerry West. Him and Jerry West are the guys that you sit there and you say, when they speak on it and they give you the hey, I think this kid's okay. They give you that. They give you that, and they give you that protection. That means you're destined to be good in this league.
They're kingmakers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They touch the goal. They're the ones that when they touch it, it means it's normally going to go into a good spot.
And Spoelstra's a prime example of that.
He's a perfect example.
Whenever I was like, man, that's a video guy that you made a head coach. That's crazy. Pat Riley's just doing that so he
taught
can
him
be
how to watch film.
He can be a puppet. He can be his puppet or whatever.
He's not stern enough, and he doesn't yell at his players enough, and he doesn't do like he knows what he's doing.
Yep. And he does. You've seen him. He was about to fight a couple times. Fight some players.
How about this? If Spoelstra, if they win the finals, let's say if they win the finals, he's got to win the finals to do this. But, dude, if you realize if Spoelstra wins the finals, we got to start having a different conversation about Erik Spoelstra.
Yeah.
No, he's definitely climbing up that point.
That would mean, if he wins the finals, that means he'd be tied for third in NBA Finals appearances for head coaches and seventh in rings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was an assistant on that Dwayne Wade Shaq team.
Yes. He's been in that organization for a very long time.
And then wins it with LeBron.
Yeah. I mean,
and then if you come in.
Did Lonzo win one with Miami? Did Lonzo win one? Was he playing during that time? I know he's been in the front office.
You're right, actually. I don't know.
He might have been at the end of the bench, but I don't think he was.
Yeah.
You're right. Good point. I didn't think about that. But I'm just saying, if he does that with this team that we just talked about, undrafted free agents being kind of the featured in this rotation,
no doubt.
Yeah, we got to start having a different conversation about Spoelstra.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We were talking about it last week. I was like, man, we don't put enough respect on Spoelstra for what he's been able to do, the orchestrating, bringing in, working with different personalities throughout his career. LeBron walked past him one time, and everybody thought, oh, Spoelstra's not going to be there. Well, LeBron was the one that ended up leaving. You had Dwayne Wade. You brought in Shaq. You were part of all of that at some point where you learned how to deal with the superstar mentalities, and then you get the dudes with the chips on their shoulder. Mm-hmm. You got the guys that are like, man, we about to win us a championship or get to the finals, and I'm going to try to get some money next year. Now you're creating some different things.
Speaking of money, how about this stat for Erik Spoelstra? Since the NBA bubble, Erik Spoelstra and the Heat are 39-20 against the spread in the playoffs. If you are just a $100 better, you're up over $1,600 with Spo.
With Spo.
Against the spread.
Spo knows. Spo knows.
Yeah, since the bubble. No other coach is even over $400. And no team is even $300 in that span. Him and the Miami Heat, like I said, they're plus $1,600.
There it is.
Since the bubble. If you're just $100 better. And give you another little nugget about Spo. Most profitable coach as an underdog on the money line since 2005. $100 better would be up $8,000 regular season and playoffs. Betting on Spo as the underdog.
Man, I should have been paying attention to that a lot more.
Hey, Spo's got something, man.
Yeah.
Got something. Spo knows, like you said.
Spo knows. You know who else knows? My friends over at Quick Roofing. If you're a Boston Celtics fan and you were watching the game, you probably thought you were getting hail on your roof. Do yourself a favor and have my friends go over there and check it out. Go to quickroofing.com. That's quickroofing.com. The reason why Jeff Quick can stay in business for over 39 years is because they take care of their customers and they got a great reputation of customer service. Here's the reason why I think you should choose Quick Roofing. You get a free no-obligation inspection. Quick Roofing is fully insured and have all state and local licenses. Quick Roofing doesn't even require any money up front until 100% completion and, of course, 100% satisfaction. They also have a project manager on every job site ensuring that you, the customer, get everything that you were promised. And with all of that, you get a 7-year workmanship warranty. So what are you waiting on? Reach out today and get that free inspection. Go to quickroofing.com today. That is quickroofing.com.
All right, man. Jamal Murray's coming out party is definitely happening right now. in front of our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
37 points in game 2 and in game 3. He can take it over in the beginning, or he can take it over late in the fourth quarter, as we've seen him having more 20-plus point fourth quarters in the playoffs than any player ever.
And I think Patrick said it right last week. The biggest thing for him was getting healthy. We hadn't seen him. You were talking about the bubble and what Miami was able to do and during that time. Same thing for Denver. Jamal Murray had 2 50-point games when they were in the bubble. And now he's being healthy, missed all of last year basically. And then this year took him a little time to get going. But like anything else, if you get hot at the right time and you start playing quality basketball, and right now it looks like he's shooting into a bucket, like the biggest bucket you can possibly find. And when you get in those zones, there's nobody that can stop you. I don't know exactly what Darvin Ham is trying to do in these playoffs. I don't even know if Darvin Ham knows exactly what he's trying to do. But he needs to stop listening to LeBron and start being able to adjust and say, I need somebody to not worry about offense and play defense on Jamal Murray. Because if you don't, you're going home. I think they're going home anyway.
Yeah,
but
man.
I'm just saying, win one game, guys. Win one game.
It's called pride.
Exactly.
Get a little bit.
You know what that is? That's pride messing with you. You're going to feel a little sting.
No, but my biggest complaint, sorry, Patrick, real quick. My biggest complaint about the Denver Nuggets has been they don't have true superstars. Well, we know Jokic is a superstar, of course, back-to-back MVPs. But now you're talking about Jamal Murray adding his name to that list, too. And this is a guy that hadn't even made an all-star team, unfortunately. But now he's putting the world on notice.
Yeah, and the problem was you were able to defend guys last series with Vanderbilt, and then Schroeder came in, and you were able to play against those, but they were a little bit older. And so they weren't, getting off on you and getting that step off on you a little bit quicker and getting three-pointers on you and over again. And now Vanderbilt can't keep up, so they're trying to play him, and they go, okay, well, he's not working, so let's put Schroeder in, but Schroeder's going to try and play offense, and his offense isn't there, and he's not stopping him. And I know Zay's talked about this on the show about starting Rui Hachimura and just trying to basically limit your problems, but you can't really start Rui because you don't have another big man unless Mo Bamba can come back in Game 4 and play 20 minutes and say like 20 good minutes. That way you can start Rui and then have another big man in the rotation, but you only have 2 big men. So if either one of them gets in foul trouble, you're basically screwed because Jokic will just eat the rest of the game. Or if they both get tired because they're both trying to play 40 minutes, then Jokic will dominate. And that's what happened in Game 3 or Game 4, was it? Game 2 or 3, where he had a great fourth quarter because they were just tired because they're trying to play so many minutes because they don't have another big on that roster.
Yeah.
And Tristan Thompson isn't that big, so you needed Mo Bamba, and that's why as much as, we saw Charles Barkley laughing about it when they were like, Mo Bamba may be back for Game 4.
I know.
And I'm like, I get it because it is silly to go, hey, man, you're getting dominated in this series.
Mo Bamba.
Here's a guy that you weren't playing anyway. Like, I get it.
He's going to give us more depth.
Yeah.
Really?
But there is a point of, man, you really need another big in this series to bump with Jokic to allow Anthony Davis to be Anthony Davis so you could try and get a game out of him. But he hasn't even had that huge breakout game. He's played well, but he hasn't had that Anthony Davis game. LeBron hasn't had that LeBron game. And so it's been Austin Reeves had some good games, and Rui's had some good games. But that's not enough to win.
Not against Denver.
Not against a really good team.
Not how deep
and
they
again,
are.
the reason why I said Denver was going to handle this is people didn't realize the gap between the two series. The Lakers and Warriors are good. They're good. And the Warriors and the Suns and the Nuggets are really, really good.
Yeah.
And so the winner of that series was going to win the next series no matter what. But you just wanted to go, well, because they're both good series and maybe it's all more even. Like, no, it just worked out that.
Patrick, it was nostalgia.
And it wasn't.
nostalgia.
And it wasn't a good series because Denver kind of beat the brakes off of the Suns late in that series too. They pulled away from them.
Yeah,
so
and that's Denver's just playing really well. And as long as Jamal Murray keeps playing like this, like Hart just said, it seems like he cannot miss it.
Well, he's playing better than Jokic, who's the best player right now on the planet, potentially. So he's right now outshining Jokic, which is crazy.
He's playing, and I'll tell you this, though. If we get the matchup what it all looks like, this solid NBA Jam matchup of Bam and Jimmy versus Jokic and Murray.
Yeah.
I take that on NBA Jam any day of the week.
I like it. No, I do. I like it. I know there's talk that ratings may be down. There's some great storylines for the NBA in this matchup. Right now, the NBA is just panicking because they didn't expect both of the conference finals to be.
No,
3-0,
especially not after such good series before.
The NHL didn't expect it either. The NHL series are 2-0.
Very fair.
Yeah, both of those are 2-0, right?
Yeah.
Well, they especially didn't expect their stars in Boston and L.A. that they've been building for years.
Yes.
And Tatum and LeBron and AD. Oh, man, we've got all these. What? Jimmy Butler?
They can't win a game?
We can't get Jimmy Butler.
They can't make
All
it
right,
interesting?
Someone make Jimmy Butler pretend to be Michael's kid so we can at least
we
sell
get
Michael
that
Jordan.
story.
No,
That's right.
Y'all need to leave Jimmy alone. All right? Every time y'all mess with Jimmy, Jimmy goes off. You need to leave Jimmy alone. All right? Don't
Smart
talk to him.
man says
Don't
keep
look
your
at him.
mouth shut.
Yeah,
That's
look
right.
down when you walk by him. Don't mess with Jimmy. Dude, Jimmy is triggered very easily.
Very
When he's triggered,
easily.
he's going to go off.
Oh, yeah. I'm sending room service to Jimmy's room to say, sir, anything else you need?
Yeah.
But I'm also, again, anyone on this Celtics staff, and this is why I said, Darvin Ham needs to do the Lakers, you need to get your team pissed off. Like, I get you're trying to get them riled up, and you've tried everything else. This is game 4. Tell them they suck to their face. And tell them, dude, I'm getting fired because you are playing like wusses right now.
They're definitely getting them fired.
So
They're
like,
not the
Mazzulla-
Lakers, but on the other
And now
side.
They are definitely.
The Celtics guy, Mazzulla.
Oh, no,
he's
Mazzulla's
out.
fired.
Yeah,
And
he
the good
knows
news
it.
is he can go watch the town more. Have you heard the rumor that he watches the town 4 times a week? He said this.
The movie?
The movie The Town 4 times
Oh
a
my
week.
God,
Ben
'cause he's
Affleck
in,
movie?
yeah, because he's in Boston.
No. He said this before he was even in Boston.
Oh
he
my
does this.
goodness.
That he
Oh,
watches this
no.
movie 4 times a
Pick a
week.
better movie to watch 4 times a
This
week.
is. I'm just telling you what. This is reported
You
on.
get fired on
this-
principle.
You lost street cred right there.
Yeah,
Come
you
on.
get
By the way,
fired on
that's
principle.
8 hours a week watching The Town.
Then that lets you know he ain't watching film.
You ain't
For the
watching
8 hours
enough
right there. There you
film.
go.
That's
No
right.
coach out there will say that. It will admit that because that means they're not watching enough film. I remember when Tom Herman admitted he was watching The Crown. Longer fans was like, watching The Crown? That takes up this many hours. What the hell's going on? You be watching film. And you know what? They not lying. All right. All right, get back to it. We'll talk Texas baseball on the other side. Right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 The Horn.
Mike Harge here, and we are excited to be a part of tomorrow night's movie premiere, or excuse me, it's a docu-series of The Ride that will be going down Tuesday, May 23rd at the Alamo Drafthouse. The Ride is an 8-episode docu-series that followed the Austin Gamblers as they navigated through their inaugural season, budding rivalries, exhilarating highs, and challenging lows through the PBR Team Series. PBR's newest team-based competition. The Ride is coming to Prime Video on May 30th, and you can see the Gamblers in action August 25th through 27th at the Moody Center. That's right, you can get your tickets now at austingamblers.com. That is austingamblers.com.
Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when Patrick plays jams intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans who may have had a tough weekend. That was not the case for Texas baseball or Texas softball, actually. Both had fantastic weekends. Texas baseball will start with them. Harsh Texas baseball with a great sweep of West Virginia over the weekend. They got a little help as well, right? In the with the Bedlam rivalry.
Yep.
Needed a little bit of help, but then they got that, and the baseball god shining on the Texas baseball program once again. They get a share of the Big 12 title, and that also helps them in their quest to try to host a regional, right? That's still alive as well.
That is definitely alive. They understood the task that was at hand, and they executed it to perfection. I mean, we'll get into this a little bit later in the Hard Knocks Life, but, you know, I got a chance to see Texas the very first series out of the gate up in Arlington. They had some tough losses in there, and there was only one bad game that they actually played bad, and that was the game against Vanderbilt. That was probably the worst game that they could have possibly played. They had a bunch of young guys that were out there getting their first shot at the action. And they made a bunch of errors. And we talked about once they got back home, what the fundamentals were going to look like, how were they going about it. That's exactly what they did. They got to work. They did different things. They've had some outstanding clutch performances at the plate and on the mound. Some unexpected heroes have emerged. The transfers that got a chance to come in and contribute right away, Porter Brown and Garrett Gilmette. I mean, you just start looking around. You can give superlatives out to every single Longhorn because they all had a piece of it. But then you also got to look at what David Pierce was able to do. I mean, he shook them haters off, as they used to say. There was a lot. I mean, there continues to be. But when you get a Big 12 championship, it kind of silences the noise a little bit. And as he said in his postgame, you know, our guys just kind of blocked it out, just went out there and went to work and handled their business. It's very rare when you get to have a run for a Big 12 championship and you get to dictate it at your home. You control it. That's all we ever want, right? Yeah. You want to control your own destiny, and that's exactly what they did. And they went out and swept West Virginia this weekend. And as you said, got a little help from Boomer Sooner up there by beating Oklahoma State for him.
No doubt about that. And, you know, one of the things you brought up last week, and we saw it again, of course, in the sweep of West Virginia, man, your bats are starting to find their groove at the perfect time. You go look at the batting order, like 1 through 6, they're all hitting over 300.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a crazy stat.
That is a very crazy stat.
And
but
of course,
it also goes
Dylan Campbell, who still has his 33-game hitting streak alive.
39 games that he has reached base safely to go along with his 33.
And by the way, the Big 12 record, so he can't get the Big 12 record. Can he get it? He can't get it in the Big 12 tournament?
Yes,
he still do it? Okay.
Yeah.
I was worried. I thought, I don't know if it was a regular season thing or not. Okay.
No, you get it. All these stats
can carry over.
They go on.
Okay.
They go
on to the postseason.
Just like if you were to end the season and you didn't play any more games and you came back next year, it starts again.
Oh, nice. I like that. All right.
So he can go out there. As long as they're playing baseball, he's got a chance to get to it.
That is an unbelievable stat that the bats are now finding. They're
hitting 302 as a team.
Yeah, that's a credit that you're peaking at the right time. Obviously, when you get your sweep of West Virginia, and because of that, they got the top seed in the Big 12 tournament.
Yes.
And they get to avoid some teams that gave them a little bit of trouble. Not that they wouldn't be able to handle those teams, but teams that gave them a little bit of trouble in the regular season. And some team rival, actually, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, right? They
moved them over to the other side.
They're on another bracket.
You get to see them late.
Which is
depending
good.
on what happens, though, if you go out there and handle your business, you still got to go over there and win these games. But it has been an impressive run by this team, and the maturity and the way that they've gone about it. I'll talk about Lucas Gordon and I'll talk about LeBaron Johnson and what they mean as a 1-2 punch. But you get some contributors from everywhere in that bullpen.
It's amazing.
Like, that's the one thing that we have been talking about is you got to get outs.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get outs at the end of ball games. Yep. Your offense can go out there and keep you in it. Your defense and your pitching can help you win it. So that's going to be something that we're going to look at continuing on this run throughout the playoffs. And you brought it up. There's an outside possibility. D1 Baseball, our man Kendall Rogers, friend of the show, he has them as the number 16 team, which makes them a host site for the regional. Now, he wants them to go out there and play well, but Texas is looking at a chance to host the regional again.
That would be big time, considering, like you said, where this team started, replacing so many starters. Was it 7 of 9?
Yep.
And Ivan Melendez, losing guys like that, losing an ace. And starting 4 and 7, going on the winning streak. I mean, it's been a phenomenal ride. It's been a roller coaster ride for Texas baseball fans. I know some jumped off the bandwagon.
A lot. A lot.
But listen, you can still be on the bandwagon and criticize the ride.
No, that's definitely it was definitely a bumpy one.
Rod B, listen, I never jump off the Texas football bandwagon, but I criticize the whole ride the whole damn time. You ever ride with somebody in the passenger seat, they criticize the ride while you driving, like, oh man, you're driving too fast. Oh man, why are you
slow down
so close
over
to that
there?
car?
Yeah.
Yeah, slow down. I was like, listen, you need to enjoy the damn ride, okay? All right. So I get it. I'm probably more of a critical rider. All right. But I stay on the bandwagon. So
I love
stay on the bandwagon, just talk your ish.
There it is.
That's what a lot of Texas baseball fans did. But no, credit to Coach Pierce, man.
For sure.
Because I mean, he's just a damn good baseball coach, right? This why are we at that point now? Can we leave the? I know there was some folks who originally just they weren't David Pierce people. I get that, and they haven't been persuaded at this point. And were we 5 seasons in now?
Yeah, he's definitely walking out there saying, all I do is win. He's like DJ Khaled right now.
I mean, has he not done enough?
Exactly.
What are we talking about? 5th season with 35+ wins?
I mean,
what's
the man? You really can't say anything.
What's the criticism? Now, give it to me. Now, let's hit it for real. What is it?
I mean, it varies. It varies from different people.
Okay.
There are some that love him. There are some that just think he's tough and he doesn't do this or he's not that kind of guy. You know how it goes
I
here.
know. You know for a reason.
Exactly.
I'm looking for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't like the guy. Looking for a reason.
Yep.
Listen, I wasn't originally a Sark guy, but Sark won me over.
Exactly.
Won me over. I've seen enough to know that the raw materials are there for him to be a great coach. Is he there yet? No. He's an above-average coach, but I think with all the right support around him, the right pieces, and with the right vision, he can get there.
This is his 7th season at the University of Texas. He's been to the College World Series
so 7
3
seasons.
times.
Okay.
3 times since he's been here.
Okay.
And that 2020,
so he had the one.
Because 2020 doesn't count. So you were right. Like, this is halfway point because 2020, it was COVID. So the season ended.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Actually, crazy. I forgot about COVID.
The COVID season kind of stopped.
Okay.
So he's been in 9 super regional. This is his career. 9 regionals, 3 super regionals, and 3 College World Series appearances.
Okay.
So everybody wants to point back at, obviously Omaha, and that is the mark. But at least you're getting to Omaha. I know it's not just to get there, but you got a fighting chance every time you get there. So we can look at it that way. There's been teams that went to Omaha that didn't win it before Coach Pierce got here. You know what I'm saying? So enjoy the ride. And again, I understood it. It was different. There was so much that was happening. There was a lot of change that was happening at the university, players leaving. But when you piece all these guys together and they are playing for the common goal, that's what you want.
That is what you want.
That's what you want.
Is it okay? So how many baseball coaches has Texas baseball had
I think
the
there's
last
been 6.
6, something like that?
I think there's 6.
And how many have won national titles?
Every single one that's been here.
So I think that's it.
Yeah.
They just got to see him win a national. And they say they just got that. That's it. They just have to see him win that title. I know that's but that seems unrealistic. But for Texas baseball, considered a blue blood college baseball program,
absolutely.
I think the Longhorn fans who have not been yet persuaded to support Coach Pierce wholeheartedly, they got to see him do it once. And once they see him do it once, I think they'll be fine.
Listen.
Because then you'll remove all doubt. But at Texas, that is the standard for Texas baseball.
Oh,
not
for
for Texas football, it ain't the standard. Texas football, you just need to be in the championship conversation. Texas baseball, they're about championships.
That's all about championships. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to be able to get to the party. But here's the deal, too. And I look at this, and people are like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. But when you look at a team like Arkansas, they've had their coach forever. I mean, Coach Van Horn has been there. He just got named SEC Coach of the Year again. But I don't think they've ever won a national championship.
Mm-mm.
But Arkansas always tried. They do everything to get there. But I don't think he's ever won a championship. So
that's not the standard.
That is
though.
not the standard.
The standard at Texas is different,
Yeah.
especially for Texas baseball. Like I said, Texas football has a pretty high standard, but Texas baseball, different stratosphere.
Very
but
much so.
congrats to Texas baseball, and congrats to Texas softball as well.
Yeah.
Texas softball advancing to the super regional, correct? Am I right about that?
No, yes, they're going
Super
to the
regional.
They're getting ready to take on Tennessee. They're playing Tennessee.
The other UT.
The other UT.
U lowercase t.
There you
sorry.
go.
The other
There you go.
Euro-
It's not as bold as it should be.
When I first came to school here at Texas, and you would, I say Google, but hell, back then we might have been Binging or whatever the hell, like Yahoo. I don't know what the search engine we were using back then, but when you would look up, you search UT, Tennessee would come up.
Come on.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
We just take just put UT. You put UT in now, Texas comes up.
Should.
But you put UT in there. I remember Tennessee used to come up.
Yeah.
It was weird. But that was correct. I think the internet was young. The internet was young and ignorant. The internet didn't know anything. It was like, I don't know what this had. Then but think about it, back then, you got Peyton Manning coming out of UT back then. I mean, they won a national title very recently.
Yeah,
So-
they've been in the mix.
Yeah. Anyway.
So here's the schedule for Texas softball. Texas softball first pitch is on Friday, May 26th at 3 p.m. on Friday. They take on the Tennessee Vols. It's a best of three matchup. First game on Friday at 3, second game on Saturday at 2, and then Sunday to be determined.
Someone says, ask Jeeves. I remember that.
Yeah.
And,
Alta Vista.
Whatever, right?
Alta
It was
Vista.
weird. I don't know what it was. But
Bunch
it was
of weird ones.
It was some strange.
But you know what
stuff
that was, right?
What?
Now, Al Gore invented the internet. He's from Tennessee. They got the preferential treatment.
Is that real?
No, it's not. He
Oh,
just
I'm
it
gonna
was
say-
one of those
said
things
that.
that got it was one of those things that got thrown around because he helped do something,
Oh, I'm about
and
to
so
say,
it just got
what?
thrown in that people
That's
said that
fake.
he said that he invented the
Oh,
internet.
that's a great conspiracy theory if that had any meat on it.
No, it
there you
does
go. But yeah, I remember that back in the day. But now, of course, the world is corrected itself. Everything is as it should be. All right, we come back. We'll get into the flex on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104 down the horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Austin is a beautiful city. We all know it because we all call it home. And the authentic aesthetic appeal of Austin is thanks in no small part to our good friends over at Ironworkers Local Union 482. They've been helping shape this great city since 1935. That's a really long time. You see the labors of their love all over this great city in exquisite, iconic landmarks like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And as our city continues to grow and thrive, so does Ironworkers Local Union 482. They don't go to the office, they build it. So if you're looking for an exciting new career and you want something new, something fresh, something that will challenge you, how about becoming a member of Ironworkers Local 482 and accepting the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape Austin's economic development? Right now, Ironworkers Local Union 482 are hiring 3,000 people for a huge project, so you can become a member of Ironworkers Local 482 and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of this great city. So maximize your potential and be your best self by becoming a valued member of Ironworkers Local 482 by going to ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when we play jams, my man Patrick does, intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans who may have had a tough weekend. I love this song. Is this Sam Cooke?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Great stuff. Love me some Sam Cooke. It's like a soothing the soul. Sam Cooke does a lot of that. I was telling the guys in the break that I watched some movies over the weekend. I was in a basketball mindset because I'm not getting any actual entertaining basketball watching the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference Finals. So I was like, you know
the
what?
basketball Jones.
So on Amazon, they have the new Air movie is available to watch. You can just stream it if you have Amazon, which most of us have because Jeff Bezos has corrupted our minds.
Very much
and we must have it. And I watched it, and I got to tell you, Harj, I agree with your initial assessment. It's damn good. I'd work if you're a sports fan. Honestly, you ain't got to be a sports fan. It's worth the watch.
It's definitely
my
worth
wife
the
loved
watch
it too. She thought it was great, and it's damn near 2 hours, but it flies by.
Yeah, it gives you the background and how you look at it. And I know everybody keeps saying Michael Jordan wasn't even in it. It wasn't about Michael Jordan.
It really, yeah. You don't even.
It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's the process. It's about what happened to get to this point. The struggle, the look of. Just like anything else, I always tell people, you don't ever want to know how the sausage is made. You just like sausage. You know what I'm saying? If you want to eat some hot links, you want to eat hot links.
No,
so you sit and you watch it and you understand that in order for them to get Michael Jordan and for him to be there and people still buying these shoes, how did we get to that point? He just didn't wake up and become Air Jordan.
No.
It was a process.
Yeah. No, I tell you, it's fantastic. I'd recommend it. This is the flex, so kids, y'all should watch it. It's
there
inspirational.
You go. It is very inspirational.
It'll get you inspired to be great. Because I thought it was really good. Patrick, have you seen it?
Nope.
You got Amazon, right? You should watch it.
Never gonna watch it.
You should. You're a basketball guy.
Zero care. There's not basketball in it.
He's a
It's not a basketball movie.
It's basketball history.
It's a businessman movie.
It's basketball history and pop culture history.
I don't watch any movies. I'm not gonna watch a boring one about making
not
shoes.
boring.
I'm also not a sneakerhead.
It's not boring.
I'm not a sneakerhead.
You want to be a sneakerhead? I tell you, I'm not a sneakerhead either. But I'm telling you, it's
there's
worth it.
absolutely nothing that makes me think I will ever watch that movie.
Okay, I thought it was pretty good though. I'd recommend.
No,
it if you
I bet it's a good movie. I don't watch any movies. So it has to be something that I would care about watching, and how Michael Jordan got a shoe deal does not interest me one bit.
That's true. But like I said, it actually surprised me how good it was. I thought they did a really good job. I watched another basketball movie. I watched White Men Can't Jump over the weekend, and I got to tell you this. Because my expectations were so low, it actually exceeded my expectations.
I like that.
I set the bar at 0, and it
Pretty
cleared
much.
it.
Yes, it's like Texas. It's like
bar
Texas football the last few years. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna set the bar real low, and if they get 7 wins, I feel good. So yeah, that's basically where we were. Like it actually was pretty good. I thought I would have to fast forward through it. It'd be that bad. It was not that bad.
It was not that
And
bad.
my wife said, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna take a nap during it, and she did not nap. She stayed up.
Seal of approval, folks.
Seal of approval.
Seal of approval.
So if you need a movie that doesn't make you fall asleep, White Men Can Jump.
I'm just saying. And I think Jack Harlow has finally found his calling. It's not rap.
Yeah,
Maybe
okay. So he was all right as
he's
an
a
actor?
better actor than he is a rapper.
Okay.
And that
I
ain't
do-
saying a lot.
I do just want to
class.
see. I just want to see a movie poster that just says "My wife didn't fall asleep." A movie poster.
I'm saying, I'm like my Blackbuster reviews are gonna be real with y'all. All right, wife didn't
appreciate
fall
that.
asleep. I didn't fast forward through it. There you go.
I like it.
All right,
I like it.
the flex.
Okay, let me give you the flex
Please
update
give
real
us a
quick.
flex.
Let me get us out of this real quick. Let me tell you about the flex. This past weekend, I got a chance to watch the Round Rock Dragons take on the Westlake Chaparrals. Thursday night, Round Rock took the game 1-0. Friday night, Westlake won the game at home. Great pitching performance by Nathan Duvall. He did a great job. And then Saturday, winner take all at Concordia, packed house, a lot of people everywhere. Jack Brady went out there and pitched his tail off. He was moving the ball in and out. He's a junior, had a great game, struck out 10 guys for a complete game win. I actually put the last play of the game up on my Instagram Live so everybody can see Westlake win and advance to the next round.
Nice.
They start playing Thursday at Eagle Pass. Friday, they play at 2 o'clock right here across the street. And if they need to go to a Game 3, they will play it right after Game 2 at Westlake.
I like
so
that.
Westlake got quote-unquote home field advantage. going into the next round. Great baseball game by both teams. Pitching performances. The one team didn't make mistakes and the other team did. And that's how it goes in sports. I mean, you got to go out there and you got to play clean when you have some errors and you have some misplays behind you. It compounds everything. And so kudos to Round Rock for a great season, but also kudos to Westlake for advancing. Also advancing was Rouse. They played a one-game playoff against Cedar Park. Cedar Park was up. Rouse didn't quit. They came back, won the game, and they have advanced to the next round as well. Taylor advances as well, because remember we had the Taylor Ducks getting on us because we didn't give them no love. Taylor advances. Lake Travis falls, but the softball girls for Georgetown, they advance as well.
All right, nice. That's a nice little sum up. I like that.
There you go, man.
All right, go check out FLXATX.com, FLXATX on all your social media platforms. We come back. We'll talk college football on the other side. Top 25 toughest schedules in college football. Longhorns pretty high on this list. We'll get into that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 The Horn.
Mike Hart here. I want to talk to you about my friends over at Pest Wranglers. PestWranglers.com is where you need to go for your pest control needs. Pest Wranglers is locally owned, and it's a small business that's been around since 2006. Its basic principle of great customer service leads to happy customers. Pest Wranglers also services most of the Central Texas area. So if you're in need of help with mosquitoes, termites, rodent control, or you need inspections for residential or commercial properties, please give Pest Wranglers a call at 512-670-7808 or go to their website at pestwranglers.com. Pest Wranglers won't make you sign a contract because they believe that you can keep your customers happy by keeping them happy. They got 5-star ratings on Google, Yelp, Angie's List, and also all other referral sites. That's pestwranglers.com. And my Pest Wranglers Pest of the Week is the streaming services, for the NHL and the MLS. They're so difficult to find, they need to do better, and Pest Wranglers can help you. Go to pestwranglers.com.
Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie, when Patrick plays jams intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans who may have had a tough weekend. Definitely the case for Celtics fans and for Lakers fans, who are both down 3-0 in their conference final series. We'll get back to that NBA conversation coming up in the top of the 5 o'clock. In the meantime, though, we got lots of college football discussion to get into, a couple of college football stories to get into, but also Texas baseball. We got college baseball discussion as well. Harge, what you got coming up on Harge Knock Life?
We're going to talk a lot of Texas baseball. We're going to talk about how this team has been riding the high of the highs and what's next for them as they head into the Big 12 tournament this Wednesday, 12:30. Don't worry about 12:30 right here on 104.9 The Horn.
I like that. All right, so Hard Knock Life coming up. We're going to talk some Texas baseball. We got into it a little bit in the 3 o'clock. We'll get back to that conversation. But let's get to this list of the top 25 hardest schedules in all of college football. This comes from, I got it from our good friends over at On3, but it's based on ESPN's. Basically, it's based on their algorithm and their basically, I think it's based on Bill Connolly's algorithm. So their strength of schedule, they throw in there. They throw in a lot of different things. But they believe that Texas has the 12th toughest schedule in these top 25 toughest schedules they rank. They had Ole Miss number 1, Minnesota Golden Gophers number 2. Gotta go look at that schedule. Florida Gators at 3, Maryland Terrapins at 4, Auburn Tigers at 5, Arkansas Razorbacks at 6, Michigan State Spartans at 7, Tennessee at 8, Rutgers 9, Indiana at 10, and South Carolina 11. The only schedules ranked ahead of Texas. You do notice a theme here. The SEC.
I was going to say SEC.
Yeah, heavily represented.
It, huh?
So Texas' future home, which is going to be the SEC West. I mean, Ole Miss is ranked number 1. You have Auburn, who is ranked number 5. So yeah, that's where you're headed.
Arkansas.
Anyway. You got Arkansas, forget about them. Yeah, it's number 6. So that's where you're headed. You'll be constantly in the top 10 of toughest schedules.
No doubt.
If you're a Longhorn fan and this may be freaking you out a little bit, don't let it freak you out. You're headed to the SEC West. You'll always be in the top 10 toughest schedules in the country, or close to it, because also you are beefing up your non-con. Your non-con now has Michigan on it, Ohio State on there, right? You got Georgia on there in the future. I guess you'll get rid of that.
Possibly.
You're going into the SEC, so it won't happen. But you still have a lot of non-cons with big-time opponents outside of the SEC, and I'm sure that they'll continue to do that going forward.
Yeah, remember when we were talking a lot about, man, look at our home schedule, man. We're not playing any good teams. Well, that's what you signed up for now. You got good teams all the time that you're going to be facing every single week. So you got to get prepared for that right off the rip.
I got to tell you, this Texas schedule seemed pretty favorable.
Yes.
Yeah. And especially considering I believe we're the only Big 12 team in the entire 25.
Yeah, you are correct.
So to not have the Big 12 ranked as heavy, clearly, it's like, does that Alabama game just weigh so heavily on the non-con that it knocked them up
that high?
Yeah, knocked them up because if they're the only Big 12 team, it seems like it's a weird ratio, but
yeah, and it's not any of the teams that are on here either. Texas doesn't even play them this year either. So you would think there would be another team that was on there that would have Texas's back, I guess you would say, to say, okay, they got this team, Alabama, but then none of the other teams in the Big 12, BYU, U of H, none of them that are coming in, Central Florida, none of them are on this difficulty schedule.
Yeah,
so,
you're right. I mean, it's like I said.
Yes, you're right, Patrick. Alabama is it.
And Alabama's 18th on this list. A&M, by the way, Aggies out there, you're 16th on this list, right below LSU. I mean, basically the entire SEC West is
I was
going to say
the entire SEC, it seems like.
Mississippi State's on here 24. Alabama at 18.
Tennessee
A&M at 16. LSU's at 15.
South Carolina's 11.
So, so it's most of the SEC, but then the SEC West, I'd say it's like 5 teams out of the SEC West on here, 5, 6 teams, and that'll soon be Texas too.
Yep.
And I'm assuming, I don't know how big we still don't know about the divisions and all that kind of stuff, but Oklahoma's going with you too, and you're going to end up playing Oklahoma. So, like I said, don't freak out. You'll constantly be ranked in this top 10.
Yeah, you're going to be in the
and
mix.
Oklahoma will too. Somebody says, what's Oklahoma's schedule ranked?
It didn't go that low.
It did not go
It didn't go that low.
I mean, I hate to say it like that. It did not. I don't know. I'll do some research and find out where they actually have Oklahoma ranked potentially if they go a little bit deeper. But this is just the top 25.
Yeah.
What they deem as the most difficult schedules. And I will say, like I said, Texas' schedule to me was really favorable because remember they don't leave the state but twice.
Yeah. Alabama and
Iowa
State,
I think,
yeah.
are the only times they leave the state. Other than that, they go.
It's great travel plans.
They do kind of the
Yep.
Texas fight tour, if you will, but I mean they don't leave the state very often. So that's another good, to me, good stretch for Texas, or at least I think it's something that's favorable for Texas in the schedule. Okay, so we have not played a scheduled game with Texas,
Yeah.
and I think we all are in the mindset that Texas will. I think the over under is 9.5 wins.
Yep.
Do we all believe over?
Yes.
Patrick, well, you're also an over guy with the 9.5 when we went over.
I'm hoping. So I'm going to say yes because I'm really hoping.
He's cautiously optimistic.
Yep.
Honestly, yeah.
You
Hey,
got to be cautiously optimistic
yes,
these days.
It's Texas football. Trust me, I'm with you on that. We're hoping Sark turns that around. Okay, would you guys consent to a just preliminary schedule game with Texas?
I'm in. You know I'm
We have
in.
not. I've not thought about this
I'm
or
in.
anything. So
I'm
I've
all
not,
in.
Trust me, Robbie hasn't rehearsed this or anything, so I don't really know. I just pulled up the
Let's
schedule.
go. Let's go blind. Let's go
You wanna
blind.
go
Melody Jelly.
blind
Let's
into
go.
it?
Let's go.
Okay, how about this? And I'll talk. I'll say the matchup, then I'll count to 3, and then we won't influence each other's decision.
Okay.
I'll count to 3, and then we all say win or loss.
Okay.
For Texas, is that cool?
Let's go.
All right.
Okay. All right. So we'll start off with
Win.
drinking the Kool-Aid.
Already.
Early on.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say this. I'll say the opponent, then I'll count to 3, and then we say whether it's a win or a loss for
Okay.
us. All right. Versus Rice. 1, 2, 3.
Win.
Yes, easy. At Alabama. 1, 2, 3. Win.
You win.
Oh no! You
Gotta
what?
I was. Hold
What?
on. Can I go for a tie?
Did you want to go lost there?
I do want to go lost there.
Okay.
I am going lost. Okay, I'm going to go lost. Go ahead.
I know. See, now you got me thinking.
No, I don't want
wanna
you
go
to think.
lost.
This is all blind. This is all blind.
It was blind.
Let's go. Let's go.
I don't know why.
Hey,
I feel
it's all-
good because they don't have a quarterback yet.
Exactly. Unless they get a quarterback in some point right before the season, they get in this next
They got
transfer
the
portal.
kid from was it-
Jalen Milroe.
No, they got another one. They got a transfer.
They got the
recently.
kid from Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, but I
The
don't know.
backup at Notre Dame who didn't have a quarterback last year.
I'm with you.
So
That's true.
I'm not putting it there. I know it's Tommy Reese's guy, but
By the
No.
time we all,
I think that they will figure out quarterback by midway through the season, halfway. Like they'll figure it out. I think week 2 they may not have it figured out yet.
I would love to come in here and say.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that Texas is that's such a big game for Texas. And right now, I might change my mind once I do more research on that matchup. By the time we lead up to
well,
it,
leave me at the L. Y'all
but
stay with that win.
I'm gonna go W.
Okay.
We're also
I'm
going to
gonna
see week 1.
Yeah.
And if week
I'll
1
go down.
Milroe throws for 500 yards, we're going to be like, oh, well, that's going to be a hard game.
He's a bowling ball.
He might
too.
throw 500 yards, but he'll turn it over 5
I was
times.
going to say,
Yeah,
that
Every
is
100
true.
yards or so, he's going to turn it over.
Yep.
All right, let's keep going here.
Okay.
All right, so versus Wyoming, 1, 2, 3,
Win.
all right, at Baylor, starting the Big 12 schedule, 1, 2, 3,
Win.
Versus Kansas, 1, 2, 3,
Win.
Versus Oklahoma. All right, a little revenge here for Oklahoma. 1, 2, 3,
Win.
Yeah, I got them win that one too. At U of H.
Win. You ain't even got to count. You ain't even got to count.
Yeah.
They trying to get rid of all their players are leaving.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they lost their running back. He went to Dion.
What?
He went to prime time.
I'll agree with that. 1, 2, 3 win. No, I think you got a runaway kind of hype train early on.
Yep.
October 28th versus BYU. 1, 2, 3.
Loss.
See, he beat me to it. I'm gonna go win,
I'm going to win too.
and I'm gonna go versus K-State.
Loss.
1, 2, 3 loss. That's my loss.
That's my loss too.
I'm going to go win.
I'm gonna go loss versus K-State. That's the loss.
Okay.
Yeah, that was staring him in the face. And y'all not gonna. You might not like it going forward either. All right. At TCU, 1, 2, 3
Win.
Win.
I feel good about that one. At Iowa State.
Is Deckers back?
Yes. They don't have Xavier Hutchinson. They're losing some pieces, but they lost Will McDonald on defense too. 1, 2, 3,
Win.
loss. I got a loss.
Okay.
They're too hyped. They're too high. They're riding way too high at that point.
Okay.
Because they got the loss in K-State, lost Iowa State. Think about Iowa State. That 3 high safety defense always gives Sark trouble.
It does.
And they're going to
True.
be on the road versus that 3 high safety defense.
They
And
working on it.
This is the pioneer. We're working on it. He's been working on it for like 3 years now.
They working on it, dog.
And it still works on him every damn time. I say that's going to be another random loss. Not saying Iowa State's a better team, but Iowa State always gets one every year. They're going to get
Yeah,
that one.
they're going to get that one.
They almost had like 2 or 3 last year. Mike Cal might have had
for a
some
big-
worst
yeah.
luck that he's ever had as a
Yeah.
coach last year. I think they might get up and get Texas. I can't get Texas to 11 wins like just that easy. All right, versus Tech. Ooh. All right, versus Tech. 1, 2, 3, win. I know. I'm actually kind of I'm leaning.
It's a
more-
home game. Last
If
game.
if it was at
I
Tech,
know.
I'd go loss.
Harge. That's why. Because everything says we should win this game. and Texas Tech has this really annoying way of ruining things I enjoy.
and that's Black Friday.
That's Black Friday. It's the last time we will ever play Texas Tech in
Possibly.
football.
No. I'm with you on that.
Oh no! After this loss, we're never playing them again.
You're right. Texas won't be motivated to do that because they have ruined things for Texas too often to go back and play them again. And I would say if there's a matchup that I'm waning on, it would be that Tech one. That Tech one and that BYU one. The Tech and that BYU one. Them, I could easily see myself flipping and waffling on that, doing more research toward the end of the season.
Hey, man, you said over. You got to get to the over. You didn't get
I got
3.
10.
I thought you had 3 losses.
No, he's got 2.
Oh,
I
you
got
only
2. I
got
got
two.
Iowa
Okay.
State and K-State.
All right,
But
yeah,
I
yeah,
said
you got
the
two.
BYU.
We all have 2 losses.
All right, cool.
The BYU worries me, and the Tech worries me.
Yeah.
Those 2 words, because BYU, you never know what the hell you're going to get in BYU. They're grown men.
yes.
They got mortgages and families. They've been on missions around the world. These are totally.
Their O linemen could be the fathers of our O linemen. That is a difference in age.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's unpredictable. And then Joey McGuire. I like Joey McGuire.
Yeah.
I like Joey. He beat Sark down with, in Lubbock
Yeah.
because he wanted to be a riverboat gambler.
But
Nah, my man's coming back. We're going with Coach Sark, not Coach Steven at that point. Coach Sark will be calling plays and dialed in. And all of this has a lot to do with injury, too. So we'll see where everybody is at that point.
That's very true.
And once we get back to the regular season, when we start breaking down all these teams and start looking at the schedule, this was all blind. I'm still going with that. I'm worried about the trip to Tuscaloosa. It's a night game. It's a crazy environment.
Yeah.
It's going to be something that, everybody comes to see the Texas show. We all talk about that. What are these players going to be able to do in that environment? Are they going to be up to it? That trip to Alabama reminds me a little bit of that trip to Ohio State. That's what I look at this game. When VY and then went to Ohio State, and it was rowdy, and both teams were looking to be national title contenders. I know there was more on the line at that game because you lose, you're pretty much out of it at that point. But that was the stepping stone. If Texas can go there and win in that environment, we could be in line for a very special season.
There are 5 games that we have decided that are essentially could be turning point games for Texas. Bama game, the BYU game, K-State game. I'm throwing Iowa State in there too because on the road. So only got 2 games on the road. One's Iowa State, and they run that 3 high safety defense, which is the only defense, in my opinion, that has really kind of stupefied Coach Sark and turned Coach Sark into Coach Steven oftentimes. And then that Tech game. So those are the 5
The Tech
that worry us collectively.
Yes.
That
those
we
are
don't
the 5
feel
that
confident as a group.
And so one of those other ones will at least be close that we had no idea was going to be close.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
One of those will be like we come back in on Monday morning, like throw it all away.
Yeah.
Burn it to the ground.
Yeah.
No, but Texas, they got a good shot this year, obviously. But I think I'm with Harge. I think that Bama game is going to tell us a lot about this team. No question about that. Okay.
Let me tell you a lot about my friends over at the League Kitchen and Tavern. That's right. I got a chance to go by there. I went to the Avery Ranch location. And tonight is Monday, so you know what it is. The League offers gourmet burgers that are ground in-house and made from scratch. You get 2 burgers for the price of 1, but you can only do it if you dine in. And since we're talking about burgers, the May burger of the month is the Santa Fe burger. It's a house blended patty, hatch chili braised pork, pepper jack, pico de gallo on an aioli bun. That's right. You get a chance to enjoy that. And if you're over there, go ahead and get yourself the cocktail of the month, the prickly pear. And if you want an entree that kind of fills you up, my favorite is the Hatch Chili Pork Enchiladas. Whether you're doing dine-in or pickup, the League has something for you. You can view monthly specials and the menu at leaguekitchen.com. That's leaguekitchen.com.
All right, we'll get into some more college football stuff. We have a couple of the stories, too. There's a top 10 strongest arms in college football rankings that I want to get to, and we'll also get to the predicted to be the most explosive and exciting players on the new college football game that's coming out. We know now that they can have actual players. They can have the players can opt in, I should say. They can opt in to use their name, image, like, and I'm sure most of them will.
I was going to say, how much money did they say that they get?
They
did they give them a fee?
Say what the share would be, but I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's going to be handsome.
Well, my thing was, if you don't opt in, you get nothing.
Right.
So just opt in, you get nothing. They just use some rando as you. You know what I mean? Some
RCB.
Yeah, some dude,
right
RCB,
cornerback
with your skin pigmentation out there, with your haircut, you know what I mean?
With your fade.
Yeah, like, nah, man, just use your name, let them break you off a little chunk.
Yeah,
and trust me, as you get older, I'll tell all of you guys, if you get older, you want your likeness on a video game.
Absolutely.
That means way more to you than that little check they're gonna give you. Because when I have kids, at least I can brag to them that I was on a video game.
No doubt.
Now they're gonna be like, Dad, this video game is lame and looks like it's pixelated. I can't even recognize you on the game. Yeah, exactly. But
they're gonna be like, Dad, I just made a video game on my phone and I'm in it.
I'm better than you on the game that I made than the game they made for you. But no doubt. But still, I think it'll mean more to them.
I think so too.
From a sentimental standpoint. All right, that kind of thing. All right,
I like that.
What you got coming up on Hard Knock Life for the people?
The Texas Longhorn baseball team won the Big 12, a share of it. But the way that they got there and the road to it is something to behold. And special shout out to Coach David Pierce.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, he can coach some ball, can't he?
Rumor has it that he can. The record tells you.
We'll come back. We're talking Texas baseball on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. We know Austin is a great city, and the aesthetic appeal of Austin is also one of the things that brings people back to this great city. And one of the reasons that the aesthetics of Austin look so great is partly to our good friends over at the Ironworkers Local 482. Their skilled craftsmanship have been helping shape this great city since 1935. You see the labors of their love all over our great city and iconic landmarks like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And as our city continues to grow and thrive, so does Ironworkers Local Union 482. They don't go to the office, they build it. So if you're looking for an exciting new career, you can become a valued member of Ironworkers Local 482 and accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape Austin's economic development. Right now, they're hiring over 3,000 people for a huge project right here in Central Texas, and you can become a valued member of Ironworkers Local 482 and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of our great city. So maximize your potential today and be your best self. Simply apply at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org.
Welcome back to a Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie. It's your boy Hardball Hards. You can follow me on Twitter at Hardball Hards. You can follow my man Rob Babers at Rob Babers. And of course, you can follow the man behind the glass at It's Patrick Davis. We also love it when you're a part of the show, so hit us up on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. And I'm going to dedicate this Hard Knocks Live to the Texas Longhorns baseball team. From top to bottom, there was a bunch of questions that were being asked about this team from the very first pitch. Matter of fact, let's take it all the way back to the offseason when we were still trying to figure out what the team was going to look like. You had lost so many players that it was really hard to figure out what team was going to be fielded. You ended up having to replace so many characters on this team, whether it was Ivan Melendez, the consensus player of the year, got every single award that you can possibly get. Then you look at some of the guys that got drafted, where they were going, Murph Staley, big pieces, Skylar Messenger, all the way around. There were guys that you were looking at. And, of course, can't forget about my man Douglas Hodo Jr. Hodo, the baller that was tracking center field. Well, then the offseason happens, and you start to see different moves, and you realized that Texas was going after some big-name guys, but those big-name guys didn't come to the University of Texas. They went on, they went to different universities, and they extended their careers elsewhere. But we were all sitting here trying to figure out what was going to happen with this baseball team. We didn't know who the true leaders were going to be. A lot of guys that had experience, you didn't know if they were ready to take that next step. Yep. They've all come out and they've done that. Coach Pierce had to replace Troy Tulowitzki, who went on. Now he brings in Steve Rodriguez, former head coach at Baylor University, did a great job, comes in, former teammate of mine. Then you figure out, well, you need to get a pitching coach. Well, who are you going to go get? Woody Williams. Man, why are we getting Woody Williams, man? Well, he's a former big leaguer, and he's doing all this. But can he come in here and coach this team? What is he going to do to make this different? Oh, man, Coach Pierce is a pitching guy too. Is this going to work? Is this going to be okay? Well, they found a way to get it to work out. And I know we've had people hitting us up on the Specs text line from day one. He needs to go. All he does is win, folks. All he does is win. And I was part of the group that was really questioning, okay, I'm big on getting Texas guys to play for Texas. I'm huge on that. I'm born and raised here. I understand what it looks like. I understand what it was. And I understand that we need to get back to X level. Well, X level is continuing to win Big 12 championships and competing for it. I still remember after that very first week, I got a chance to call the Globe Life Classic for Flow Baseball, starting the season off. And I had every one of Texas baseball games this year, every one of them. And I was like, 3-2 against Arkansas, tough battle, just a tough play down the line. If he makes the play, game's different. Then you go against Missouri. Missouri's not one of the best teams in the SEC, but they were scrapping all year, and they've done some things. They end up losing that game 6-5. And you're like, man, then one play here, one play there, one pitch here, one pitch there, just battling. Then the Vanderbilt game happened, and it was probably the worst baseball game I'd ever seen Texas baseball play. I mean, they could not field it to save their lives. They lose the game 12-2. Well, then they come home on that Tuesday, and they play Corpus Christi, Texas A&M Corpus Christi. They play Indiana, a 3-game series, and then they play LSU. I got a chance to watch LSU. So starting the season off, I got to see Texas. At the Round Rock Classic, I got the chance to call the games. I got a chance to see Kansas State. The Frisco Classic the following week, I got a chance to see Oklahoma. And what did I say when I came back here? Y'all asked me about the panic button. I was like, hey, man, I think these guys got a chance because I've seen the rest of the Big 12, and if everything goes okay, they can be in the mix. And then you see that game against LSU where LeBaron Johnson, Texas ended up losing it. LSU was the number 1 team in the nation. You saw that pitching performance by LBJ, LeBaron Johnson, and we're like, wait a minute. If he can figure it out, this is going to be a good baseball team because we know what Lucas Gordon is going to give us on Friday. Now, is this team going to be able to hit? I was in the elevator at the beginning of the season with Jared Thomas, the first baseman. They call him Snake Farm. That's his nickname now. I was on the elevator and I asked him, I said, hey, young man, you ready to go? He was like, yeah, I'm so excited about this. I'm like, he was so amped up, and he struggled at the beginning of the season because he was adjusting to college baseball. Yep. Your first weekend, you're going up against arms from the SEC, and you still are trying to figure yourself out at the plate. You're trying to find your comfort level, and all he did was bat, 341 for the season as a freshman. True freshman.
That's unbelievable.
Who I had talked to some of my scout buddies, and they were like, yeah, this kid's got a chance because of his makeup, his build, the way he goes about it. All he's got to do is figure out how to be comfortable in the batter's box because he played a great first base too. He did an unbelievable job. So this kid comes up and he starts powering the baseball and got hot at the right time. He's got a 341 batting average where people at one point we need to bench him. He's not helping us. No, let him go out there and fight. What I say, long season, let him see pitching. And if you're talented enough, you can flip the script. Then you start looking at Peyton Powell. He was going back and forth with Jalen Flores, who was playing third base at the beginning of the season. So on the corners, you had a freshman at third base and a true freshman at first base, and they were trying to scuffle and go through it. So Peyton Powell gets inserted into the two-hole and doing some DHing. Then he goes over there and starts picking it. And that young man, all he did was hit 369 on the season.
Nice.
And then we get to Eric Kennedy and Porter Brown and of course, Dylan Campbell. These guys in this lineup, you said it at the very beginning of the show, Rod. You go 369 by Peyton Powell. You go 343 by Dylan Campbell. You go 341 with Jared Thomas. You go 337 with Porter Brown. Garrett Gilmette, 317. Eric Kennedy, 313 with 16 bombs. And he's batted from every part of the lineup. Then you look at what Jack O'Dowd was able to do to be the second baseman on this squad. Mitchell Daly, he was having his up and down at shortstop. Kid started making some big-time plays and just started blocking out all the noise and just going and playing. He made the moves. But Coach Pierce moved people around, trying to find it. The one thing that he said he was always going to do is keep his lineup consistent. He did that. He inserted Jared Thomas at the number one, at the leadoff. He's been on. You see Peyton Powell, been on. And Dylan Campbell, who just named Big 12 Player of the Week, has been on the entire start of the season. He was struggling. Oh, man, DC's trying to do too much. What's going to happen with him? All my man does is got a 33-game hitting streak and a 39 consecutive games with reaching base. History in the making. My man is doing his thing, and it's so fun to watch. And as we were talking about, you start looking at this pitching staff. Lucas Gordon, we knew what to expect from him. He ended up going 6-1, started 14 games, made one appearance out of the bullpen, and everybody was losing their mind when he did that. Because remember, it was a side day, and everybody's like, oh, my God, what is he doing? Why is he coming into the game? He pitched. Yep. It was panic. He was going to throw in the bullpen anyway. Let him go out there and get his work in on the mound and have a game situation, and also know, hey, if I need to use him in a pinch to come in and get a lefty out, I can go and get him. And that's exactly what he did. The story for me, though, has been the growth and maturation of LeBaron Johnson. LeBaron Johnson was somebody that you could see the ability. I mean, he's a beautiful athlete. When you look at it, and it's something that a pitching coach dreams of. A big, tall, lanky arm that's got some life that can, if you can work with him and get him to control everything and get that synergy going with his release point, he's nasty. He is definitely nasty. And again, you saw that performance against LSU. So when all of this has taken place and you have guys that accept challenges and accept the opportunities that are given to them, that's huge. And I've been really, really impressed with the way that this team has handled everything. I told you, I said, I want to see what their defense ends up being. How is their defense going to translate? Well, their defense, they got a fielding percentage of .980, which is 14th in the nation. You can play with that. You look at their batting average, ranks 40th in the nation at .302. You look at their slugging percentage, ranks 34th at .511. The pitching staff ranks 12th in ERA in the nation. They are 14th in hits allowed per 9 innings, and they're 37th in WHIP. That's walks, hits per innings pitch. I mean, these guys have gone out there and done an unbelievable job. And from going from the unknown to hoisting that trophy on Saturday at home, this has been probably one of his best works for Coach Pierce, because nobody knew. And if they told you that, if he told you that he knew that was going to happen, I'd be like, come on, dog. Nobody knew. You knew your guys were going to compete because that's what you do when you come here. But as far as knowing that you guys were going to be at the top of the Big 12, I think that would be a far stretch. But I'd also say you don't know what you had until they go out there and start playing.
That's true.
And you don't know what other teams have until they go out there and start playing. So when people are looking and saying, don't forget, the team that they swept this weekend, they were ranked number 6, and Texas wasn't ranked. And they went out there and beat the snot out of them. Like submission, tapping out in every one of those games. So it gets a little hairy, though, in the back end of that bullpen. That's something that's going to be needed to kind of figure out now that it's crunch time. But as far as the starting pitching, you've gotten everything you could want out of that staff and a lot more.
No, it's been unbelievable. Like I said, it's not a turnaround really, but the journey. Because I'm with you, I'm not even sure if this team knew what they were capable of.
Right.
Right when they went on that 16-game win streak. I think that's when they started to see some of it.
Yep.
Started to put some of the consistency together. When Mac Brown always said you got to be consistently good to be great. And you're not going to get to great till you get consistently good. And I think that's when they saw, hey, man, we can be consistently good.
Yep.
And if you're consistently good, then you're on the verge of being great. And I think that's when they started to believe, like, hey, man, we got it in us. So maybe the team started to believe at that point. But I'm with you. On the outside, based on the Specs text line and stuff that we were reading, very few.
Stuff that we wasn't even talking about on there.
Yeah, exactly. Some of y'all jumped off the bandwagon. A lot of y'all stayed on the bandwagon, but like Rod B, y'all criticized the ride the whole damn time.
Exactly.
And that's cool. That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, that means you're a real fan. It's all good. But I'm with you. It's a great story. And like the hope is that they're peaking.
Yes.
Like, right now, they're peaking at the perfect time while they embark on the postseason, and that seems to be the case.
Yeah, I'm excited for these guys now. Obviously, the job is not done. There's still some unfinished business. They're right as we talked about earlier. Right now, they are leaning to be a host for the regionals, which would be great because you all know whenever you get a chance to play baseball here at the University of Texas in front of these crowds, you know that this is a baseball crowd.
Yep.
So people will be definitely into it. They will show up. And so now, D1 baseball's projected field for right now would be Texas, Loyola Marymount, Dallas Baptist, and Texas A&M. That is the field that they have as of right now for the University of Texas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Put the Aggies in there. Huh?
Put the Aggies. You got to have the Aggies.
You got to have the Aggies
and
in
it
there.
goes number 1, Texas, number 2, Dallas Baptist, number 3, Texas A&M, and number 4 for Loyola Marymount.
All right, there you go. Nice Texas baseball breakdown by man Harge there. A lot of people excited about Texas baseball and Texas softball too.
Texas softball keep moving on, baby.
Women, man. Yeah, they making moves too. They're advancing to the super regional. So we'll continue to update you on all of those topics. We come back, we'll get into a little off the record here. Several different stories I want to hit in off the record. So we'll do kind of a smorgasbord of different topics right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. We all understand that the car business can be a frustrating one, right? Especially when you have to lease a car, when you're looking for the perfect car for you and for your family, and you also want to find the perfect car with the perfect price, all right? And that can be a really tough and frustrating process for you. You got to go out, you got to go price shop, go to all different dealerships. You got to go make sure that, the car that you want is something that the dealership can even provide for you. Maybe they gotta, look for it somewhere else. Maybe they gotta ship it in town. It's a lot of different things and a lot of different factors that can play a role in you getting the car that you want. You know what? You can just dismiss all that with my friends at Apple Leasing, right? Apple Leasing will do the hard work for you. They'll go through all the stress and all the headache of finding a car you want, the perfect car, whether it's a sedan or an SVU, whatever it is. They can help you find the perfect price you want and the payment that you want. That's what they do. That's why they're doing business here in Austin for almost 40 years, because they put the customers first and foremost, and you are their top priority. As a matter of fact, customer satisfaction is their top priority. So right now, go give them a call, 512-346-9977. That's all it takes is one phone call or one click on Apple Leasing's website at appleleasing.com, and they can help you get you a price on any car that you want. My man Harsh knows all about that.
People always ask me, they're like, Harge, do you really drive a car from Apple Leasing? I'm like, go look at my license plates. It's all over there. And this is why, because they make it so easy. Everybody doesn't have the time to go out car shopping. And everything that we do now, you can go online and look for. Here's an easy way. Go over there and apply for that easy lease. All you got to do, there's no money down, no car payments for 90 days with the easy lease. And as my man Rob Babers was telling you, it's easy. All you have to do is tell them the make, tell them the model. And everybody wants to know, is it tough to get out of a lease? I might already have this lease. Don't worry about that. They make this all easy for you. And a lot of times you're at work and you don't have time to go over there to make sure that you get all the paperwork signed. They got DocuSign. That's the way the world is moving, and they are keeping up with it. If you want the opportunity to go over there and make some friends, as my man Scott Cross is always talking about, he's making friends and leasing cars, and it doesn't even have to be in that order. All you want to do is get over there, go to appleleasing.com today. That is appleleasing.com, or give them a call, 512-346-9977, appleleasing.com.
All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. This study comes from YouGov. It's a very personal study. Got a personal question I got for you guys, too, based on this study that was done by YouGov. So basically, the study wants to know how often, as a man, just for men, how often you sit down to urinate. And there are different countries that they surveyed to try to find out how often men are sitting down to urinate.
Okay, so this is a perfect question for our morning show host, Bucky Godbolt and Aaron Hogan. Because Aaron said he does it every morning. So he doesn't
Hogan
turn
sits.
He sits because he's got to be conscious of the late night.
Yeah, because his wife is still
'Cause his
sleeping
wife
and
is
he
still
doesn't want to wake
sleeping,
up. So he's doing it.
and they don't want to make a mess.
Doing to be considerate.
Yes.
Good for him.
Yeah.
You have a night light in there. I have a little night light kind of in the bathroom, so at least I can see.
Yeah. Well,
Things.
I've made that trip so many times, I think I know where I'm going.
You're never going to stub your toe in the dark?
I'll make sure we clean that out before we go to bed.
Every night my wife will leave open the drawer in the
Yeah.
bathroom, and I will hit it
Yeah.
going to the bathroom. Oh, dude. It's like
She does it on purpose?
I don't know, but it has happened more than once. And I will hit that drawer, and all types of expletives will just rain down. Anyway.
I will say that I do it at least 3 to 4 times in the morning. Like, I mean, I'm talking about for the morning.
You sit
Yeah.
3 or 4 times in the morning?
Not the one time in the morning. Like, I go to the bathroom in the morning and I sit.
You sit.
Yeah,
You
because
prefer
I'm
to
trying.
sit.
Yeah, because I don't know.
So you're like E. Hogan.
I'm
you
like
sit
E. Hogan.
early. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how often are we sitting every time? Okay.
Not
Give me a
every time. No,
percentage-
no.
Percentage, you go to the bathroom a day, how often you're sitting? What
Just
percentage
in
are
the
you
morning
sitting?
time.
So like you talking about 10% for you?
Yeah, 10%.
Okay. Actually, then that lines up with American men.
Yeah.
It says percentage
Because
of
we American.
men who sit down. Okay, how about this? This is the percentage of men who say they sit down every time they urinate.
Oh, no.
For U.S. men, they say 10% of men say they sit down every time they go.
That's
Even they go
crazy.
in the public.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No.
I agree, because in the public toilets.
I mean,
are
what
just-
are you doing?
Yeah, you don't have to do. Why you work? Why you?
Yeah.
You exposing yourself. You don't have to.
Are you sitting because you think you might have to do something else?
I think
Or-
it may be comfort.
Yeah, is it a deal where you're like, you know what?
I've
I'm
been
just
on
gonna
my
take
feet all day.
Like I bet all 10% have kids, and they're just like, this is the time.
I
This
get
is
to get
my
on my
time.
phone.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
get on my phone.
And hang out.
I'm gonna just sit here and do this.
I don't like hanging out in public restrooms.
I don't like hanging out in
longer
private
than
bathrooms.
I have to do.
I don't want to be in my. I don't want to be in any bathroom for that long.
My bathroom, I don't mind. My bathroom is clean.
Yeah,
and
but I'm
nice.
still not. Hey,
It smells good.
When I'm saying hang out,
I don't
I'm in
mean a
there to
public
do.
restroom
I'm
for
in there
longer
to
than I have
do.
to.
I'm in there to do what I need to do, and then I
Yes.
can back. I don't need to be in there any longer.
I don't even like speaking to other men in the restroom. When I see like one of y'all in there, I try not to even talk to y'all.
What's up, man?
Like,
Hey, man, leave me alone.
don't talk to me. I'm in the restroom.
Meet me
bro.
in the hallway if you want to talk to me.
I want a conversation in there. Let's go. Because I don't want to be in there long. I don't want to start a conversation and we're like,
Yeah.
hey, so how's everything going with them?
Also,
like, no, let's go
eye
outside.
contact's a weird thing in that.
Yeah.
I don't even have eye contact when my pants are undone.
Maybe that's why they go in the stall and sit though.
That's
you
so
avoid
nobody
all
talk
that
to you.
in the stall.
That's right. You don't have to
You
talk to
avoid
anybody.
all that weird, awkward interaction. You just go in the stall.
Yeah, but you can go in the stall and not sit down.
Speaking of that,
That is true.
yeah, for sure. You can definitely do that.
Yeah. Well, I gotta tell you,
What's your number?
I'm very low here. I don't do this very often at all.
No,
This-
just to pee? No.
no. It's got.
No.
Honestly, I'm probably at 1% or less.
I would
It
say
just never happens to me.
I would say
really.
I pee outside more than I pee sitting down.
I agree with
That's
this.
very fair because I love
That
it
is
off
great.
my back porch.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with Patrick on that. That is true.
So if my neighbors
that-
are listening, don't
Hold
wonder what I'm doing in the backyard.
Just check it on the plans.
Dude, every man does that. What
Yeah.
is that about men?
That's
It's the
just
freedom.
Doing it in the
primal.
backyard.
It's
That
the
is so-
freedom.
it's not about hanging out in the backyard. It's like, I'm just going to go out here.
I'm here.
Me and the
Well,
dog.
especially-
My daughter tried to walk outside the other day to talk about let's go swing my bat. She bought a brand new bat the other day at Academy, and she was like, "I'm ready to hit off the tee." I'm like, "Not right now. Go back inside.
Go back inside.
Go
back
back
inside.
inside."
That's also like I got a pool in the backyard where I live now. So like that, if you got the pool, then you're like, I'm not gonna go back in the house and track water back in the house.
To
But I'm
pee,
also
yeah.
not peeing in the pool.
right. You got to go on the side.
So
of
I
the
gotta
on the
go
side
around
somewhere.
there.
No,
Yeah.
well, sometimes it just makes sense. I agree.
Yeah.
It's more practical. Like,
Yeah.
it's pragmatic for me to go out. Why not go in the house? I've been working in the yard for 2 hours.
Right.
You want me to go inside the house?
Yeah.
Talk
Walk
about dirty
back
clothes
right
and
here.
back outside?
Yeah. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good.
Hey, so story about the bathroom and talking in the bathroom. Very first time I met my father-in-law.
Oh, no.
We were at a basketball game. I was going to the bathroom. I hadn't met him before. I hadn't met him, didn't know anything about him, but I knew what he looked like.
Okay.
So we're walking into the bathroom. He's walking in, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, say,
Oh, no.
are you
You approach him in the
Oh,
bathroom?
yeah, we're both at the
Oh,
urinals.
no.
We're both at the urinals. And he's like, yeah, who's asking? And I told him who I was. And he's like, well, my hands are full. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Exactly.
I was like,
What am I supposed to do with this introduction in the bathroom?
hey, at least he knew I was cool. I just came right away and be like, say, man, are you her father? And he goes, who's asking? I was like, that's my man right there.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
that is great.
So, yeah, I talked
You're
at the
both.
urinal.
Yes, you're both. I try to act like no eye contact, act like we don't know each other in there. So
Right.
don't take it personal if you see me in the restroom. You're like, Ryan B's acting weird. I always act weird. It's a restroom. I'm trying to get out of that place
Yeah.
as quickly as I can. I was talking about this. You know what country says they sit down 40% of this is 40% of the men say they sit down every time they pee in this country.
40%?
40% of the men that were surveyed say they sit down every time to urinate in this country.
France.
France is 19%, which is still pretty high.
That is high.
Double with America. You got a guess here, Patrick? What country? You're gonna be kind of. I'm surprised by this country being at the top of this list. They're pretty known for being pretty hardcore throughout history.
So we're going
Russia?
Germany?
Germany, it is. It's
Yeah.
Germany.
Germany?
The Germans. Yeah, the 40%.
Yeah,
of
but
the
they
German
seem prim
men.
and proper.
Huh?
Like they seem prim and proper and neat.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm a little shocked by. In Australia, it's 25%.
Yeah, Australia surprises me.
That's
'Cause if I'm in
That's right,
Australia,
because they got a bidet.
no, but here's
They got the bidet.
That's how you.
when you're peeing.
I was gonna say you must really
No, you
like
talking
stuff,
about sitting down.
but you like
I
stuff
know,
just
but you-
shooting up there if you go use
He
it
might
when
have
you're
went
urinating.
number one. He might have went
Listen,
number 2 earlier.
And I'll tell you this: I don't know how many wild animals in Australia, but from everything I've seen, I want to be mobile at all times.
Exactly. Things
I don't want to
climb
be
through
sitting
toilets
all
and-
day.
yeah,
I
I'm
don't
with
know
you.
what spider is in this toilet. I mean, mobile.
I'm with you on that too. But there you go, guys. The other results: Spain at 14% of the men, Canada's at 16% of the men, Mexico 6%.
yeah.
Only 6% of the men are sitting down. And every time they have to go, every time it's kind of wild to me. Every
Yep.
time.
Every
It seems
time.
inconvenient to go every time. And like
No,
I
it
said, I'm
seemed
trying
like
to
it.
get out of the bathroom.
That's
as
also
quickly as possible.
pants all the way down. You
Exactly.
gotta, like,
I'm not trying to
crazy.
expose
I don't
myself
know.
that
Yeah.
much. Why
I
would
don't
you want
do
to
that.
be exposed? You don't need to be exposed.
Yeah.
Right? I'm with Patrick on this. We agree.
That's crazy.
I haven't even at this place here. I've never even gone number 2. I've been here for 6 years.
No, I don't think I have either.
What
I
did
would
you
never.
say the other day?
If you have
My
to,
timing is better than most people.
no, this is my theory. I think it's a great theory. If you have to do that somewhere other than your house, and you're not on vacation, then you plan poorly.
Well,
You're
your
at
boy,
poor planning.
your boy puts miles on his car because I'll drive all the way home to do it.
Hey,
I'm telling you right now, your boy,
That's
my Apple leasing is because I drive to my house to go to the bathroom.
why you got 3 Apple
That's why I
leases.
got 3 Apple leasings.
Oh, hard. Just go from
I
the north to the
drive
south.
to the crib.
Hey,
Hey,
to go to
I
the
do want to
God
say
bless
for the
you, man.
record, legalize it. You are not allowed in my pool because your statement that it's okay to pee in the pool is not not allowed.
No, we don't know.
Not allowed.
This is why I don't like water parks.
This is why I don't like kids in my pool. They're like, why you like kids over? So I'm like, first of all, we're allowing the pee up. I got some drunk friends, so some's gonna slip out somewhere.
That is true.
But if I have kids, I'm automatically allowing for a large amount.
Yeah, you're causing
all
problems
kids pee
for
in the pool.
yourself.
All
Yeah.
kids pee in the pool.
Yeah.
Even when you were a kid, you peed in the pool.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you pee in the pool.
Well,
You're-
because you're like, as soon as I get out, only bad things can happen. It's like Darryl Royal with throwing the football. There's like 3 things can happen, and most of them are bad. My mom's gonna be like, "Time to go. Yeah, you need to dry off and take some time out." If I stay in the pool, I'm good.
I used to love the myth that there was like this like color
Oh, it just
fluorescent
comes out.
like stuff that it can show that
Yeah.
if you are peeing in the pool because it mixes with the urine. I don't know if that's true. I've never been in that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. It'd be fun though to just put some dye in your pocket and just put out some dye. Just
like,
freak
bro.
out. Oh.
You would get a lot of people that way. That'd be good.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Interesting conversation. Let's get back to some sports here. We'll talk about the Heat and the Nuggets being up 3-0, Carmelo retiring, and Raj Rant of the day. I'm going to bring up one of my most unpopular sports opinions in my days in Austin radio. We'll rehash that because there's a top 75 quarterbacks of the 2000s list by ESPN that was dropped. We'll discuss it, but also the list agrees with my unpopular opinion, and you guys are going to hate it. Right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. I got to tell you, we are so excited to be covering the premiere of The Ride Tuesday, May 23rd at Alamo Drafthouse. That's tomorrow, folks. You can come out there and hang out with us. Now, The Ride is an 8-episode docuseries that followed the Austin Gamblers as they navigated the league's inaugural season, budding rivalries, exhilarating highs, and challenging lows throughout the PBR Team Series. Now, the PBR is Pro Bull Riding's newest team-based competition. The Ride is coming to Prime Video May 30th. You got a chance to catch it out there, but you also can see the Gamblers live and in action August 25th through the 27th at the Moody Center. So get your tickets now at austingamblers.com. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Smooth Soul Monday, which is where my man Patrick plays jams intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans. And if you're a Boston Celtics fan or an LA Laker fan, you are being tortured right now. It feels like it anyway, being down 3-0 in the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals. We'll get to it and talk about that. We'll also talk about Carmelo Anthony retiring and what that means to his legacy. Coming up next segment in Raj Rant of the Day, ESPN introducing their top 75 college quarterbacks since 2000. We'll review that just a little bit because and through the lens of one of my most unpopular takes I've had on radio in Austin since I've been doing this. And I'll review it because I think it's relevant to the top 75 college QBs since 2000. We'll talk about what the Longhorns are ranked, and we'll get into that list a little bit and talk some college football and have a little fun. Reminisce, if you will. All right, let's reminisce a little bit on the NBA Conference Finals, gentlemen, because the Miami Heat are up 3-0 on the Celtics, and the Nuggets are up 3-0 on the Lakers. Let's start on the Western Conference side of things because Patrick tried to warn us, Harge, and I think we even knew better. We kept saying Denver Nuggets were a better team. I said, I picked the GOATs until, the GOAT gives me a reason to pick against them. The Denver Nuggets hadn't been to an NBA Finals in the history of the organization. But, looks like the GOAT has had his day, and his day might be done because Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, along with Jamal Murray, who scored 37 points again in games 2 and 3, they have taken over this series, and they have a stranglehold on it now, 3-0. And even though you're getting, a decent series from LeBron, he's still averaging damn near 24 points a game, over 10 assists, over 9 rebounds per game, shooting 48%. It's just not enough. They need LeBron to put his cape on, and for some reason, he can't pull the cape out right now. And they need him to be Superman, and maybe just at 38, LeBron can't do that, and maybe they need AD to take on that role and be Superman, and AD really can't do it either. So they don't have enough guys that can put the cape on, and Jamal Murray, man, he's got a couple of them. He's got cape on cape on cape, cape and cowl. He's got it all.
He's been storing it. He's had it in storage because he's been hurt for the last
true,
2 seasons.
Right.
So
his cape is fresh.
He got
fresh
a fresh
and
cape,
mm-hmm.
and he's seeing this opportunity. Going back to the points that y'all made earlier about him not even being an all-star throughout his career, and the reasons being is because he's been sick. He hadn't been, not sick, but he's been injured and having to deal with so many different things that the world now is starting to see him on the largest stage, even though we've talked about LeBron and how he's his numbers look okay, but when you watch the game, he doesn't seem like he's as engaged as he once was. It's, a lot of times we saw him become that guy that was a facilitator. He was getting everybody else involved first. I think he needs to take a different approach and be the guy that gets involved first and have everybody else come with him.
Can he do that?
No, he can't. Anthony Davis has been that guy. Yeah. They've been trying their best to make sure that he is featured, but LeBron has those moments where it's like, you need to go get the ball and run this offense. We know you are a point forward, but when you're the one that's attacking, and stop shooting all these doggone threes. He made a couple and he thought he was doing a heat check, and then he almost broke the backboard on one of them. I'm like, man, keep getting to the rim because that is where your biggest strength is. Mm-hmm. We talk about the mid-range. He hadn't used that a lot. He hadn't had any help from D'Angelo Russell at all. He's another guy that he thinks he is the one that everybody should be getting the ball to, and it's like, no, man. You're not that guy right now.
You're not that guy.
You have to find a different matchup. And going back to what Patrick was talking about in the very first segment, if Darvin Ham hadn't been watching film to see what the matchups are, I hope somebody else has. Where you need to go find yourself an Eric Spoelstra, somebody in that film room that really believes in what they're saying and what they're seeing, and going out there and having that help defense. Because you doing that pick and pop and going underneath the screen for Jamal Murray, he's killing you with that.
Killing you.
Yeah, and that in reality is what it comes down to, is that the Lakers' identity this season, when they have been winning, has been defensive. They have been a good defensive team, and the Nuggets have just put up too many points. You know, when you look back at that Warriors series, when they were winning those games, they were holding the Warriors to about 100 points. And so around 100 points is where they need to hold their team to, because they can score just over 100. So they're not a great enough team that they can go and outscore a bunch of guys. And against the Nuggets, they've allowed 132, 108, and 119. In that 108 game, you really need to win, because that was right and enough that you could have pulled out a few more points. And that was where AD and LeBron just missed a ton of shots down the stretch. But that was the one. 108, enough. You played enough defense in that game to come out ahead. And these other two, you just didn't play enough defense. Jamal Murray toasted you, and you weren't able to do it. So until you figure out how to slow down Jamal Murray, because you figured out how to slow down Jokic some.
He did.
So he's being slowed down a little bit. Now, he had 15 points in the fourth quarter, so he still shows he can do it. But you can slow him down a little bit. You have to slow down Jamal Murray. If you can't do that, it doesn't matter offensively. It doesn't matter LeBron scoring more or AD scoring more, because you're not a team who can consistently win by putting up 120. That's not how the Lakers are built.
No, that's a good point about Jamal Murray, because in the playoffs, he's averaging, I think, like 27 points per game, but he has this ability to get hot and go almost kind of nuclear, category 5. And when he gets so hot, he can just take over a game. And he did it early, actually, in game 3. It was like in the first quarter.
He had 17 in the first, right?
Yeah. So, exactly. They got to keep him from having that hot quarter. He was in the fourth quarter in game 2, where he had the fourth quarter where he just went off. Had the first quarter in game 3 where he just goes off. And Patrick's right. They just have no answer for him. 37 points in back-to-back games for him. So that's big. That's a big part of what, Darvin Ham's going to have to figure out schematically is how can you try to slow him down. And I'll point out also, man, the Nuggets have done a good job countering with the schemes that Ham's thrown out, because it was pretty obvious at the end of the game 1. They had that Denver almost had the collapse at the end of game 1 in the fourth quarter, where after leading by 20 points, the Lakers brought it back into one possession game. I believe it was a 3-point game at one point. And a lot of that was they put a body on Jokic, right? And then let AD play kind of the basically almost a help defender. Kind of be the center fielder there and kind of play the lane. There was great adjustments by the Denver Nuggets. That actually has not been as impactful because Jamal Murray's picked up any slack. With that particular strategy might have neutralized Jokic, and they've still been able to basically run the offense through Jokic because he's a point center. Have you ever had a point center before?
Yeah, I mean, there's guys.
That's magic.
I mean, like, and again, Arvydas Sabonis was a guy like that was an extremely good passer.
Sad, yeah.
There's been guys that the offense has run through like that. He just does it at a level that makes it look really easy. And in a game today where there's not a bunch of bigs in general, it sticks
looks
out.
Weird. Yeah, it looks obtuse just to see a big man that skilled, soft hands the way he is. And he's, like I say, he's not a freakish athlete either. His vertical isn't through the roof or anything like that, but his skill level is, he might be the most skilled player in the league. It's weird to say that about a big man these days. But anyway, getting back to the Lakers, guys, we've seen the numbers. I'm sure by now you guys know them. Note basically the teams who have been down 3-0. There have been 149 series where a team has taken a 3-0 lead. No team has come back to win a series after being down 3-0. 3 teams have taken it to a game 7. So maybe LeBron can do that. And by the way, if LeBron does indeed bring the Lakers back, which I don't think is going to happen. All right, should have listened to Patrick on that one. Went with the GOAT, and you know what? Usually the GOAT is a safe choice, but this time it was not because the Denver Nuggets are playing like the best basketball team on the planet. But if he does bring them back, man, talk about a resume builder.
Yep.
That'll be something else that'll put him in the conversation.
That'll put him in a whole nother level.
Yes, that would be, I guess, a debate data point, if you will, about LeBron versus MJ, that kind of thing. He's not going to do it, though, I don't think. I love LeBron. LeBron ain't coming back. Not against this team.
No, you can't do that because there's too much over on the other side. They're all knowing their roles and everybody's contributing. We haven't even talked about Michael Porter Jr. and what he's been able to do throughout this series as well. He's been a problem. And for all the texters that were hitting us up a little bit earlier, I did talk to the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, today, and he did the Steve Harvey. I would like to apologize because he did not expect the Lakers to be this vulnerable, and it was unforeseen in his eyes because remember, he was on our airways and was telling us about how the Lakers, we were wrong.
Hey.
Everybody was wrong about the Lakers.
Man.
And he said, I would like to apologize. He did his
Got
best,
that-
Steve Harvey.
You got that fool's goal when y'all play.
Exactly.
Everybody got that fool's goal. Hey man, we're beating up in this Warriors team they're champions last year. They're good. Not going, man. This Warriors team ain't the team that it was. Yeah, this was.
This ain't it.
And honestly, I thought the Lakers were going to put up more of a fight where they put up fights because in game 1 and 2 they were in it till the very end.
Game 1 and 2.
But you think they'd win one of these, and that's been the problem is they haven't been. I thought the way they played that they would have at least won one before it went to 3-0. But I did think they were going to get dominated in the series overall, just because Denver's just a way better team. They're built that way. This is a team that's been built growing for the last 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, this is the Western Conference matchup from the bubble.
Yeah.
The Western Conference Finals matchup from the bubble. So this series has happened before 2 years ago. Denver has continued to build, and basically Lakers had to do a full reset in that time.
And they got to
And
do it
just
again.
kept AD and LeBron.
And they got to do it again.
They got to do it again because Austin Reeves is gone.
Exactly. You're going to lose a lot of pieces.
And I had to look at because Austin Reeves it falls in that weird category with Austin Reeves that basically they can offer him the mid-level exception, but because they only signed him to a 2-year deal instead of a 3-year deal, at 3 years they can get his bird rights. At a 2-year deal, they were not able to get his bird rights, which bird rights basically was when they invented the salary cap. Larry Bird was on the Celtics. They could not afford to keep him.
And exception.
So there's a rule that if a guy's been on your team and you can go over the cap to sign him, they cannot go over the cap to re-sign Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
So what they can offer is under the cap, offer it. They can go over it. I believe they'll have it with Rui Hachimura because he has it through Washington. So they'll be able to get him in. I believe they could do it for D'Angelo Russell too, but they probably won't.
No.
But they could go over. So basically you would have to sign Austin Reeves, but I think it's $11.9 million to the
And the
mid-level
way he's
exception.
balling, he's going to get paid.
So they're saying the most they can offer him is 4 years, $11.9 per season, which is roughly $50 million over 4 years. People are projecting him to get around 80 to 90. And he's balling. So
he's balling.
So you lose another major piece of that team that you have to try and find a replacement for.
And LeBron's not getting any younger.
No, he's not.
He still looks good for 38, but like we said, they needed him to be Superman in this series, and he's just not. It's just,
Hey, and we know that he signed that one more year of that contract, but Bronny's in the draft in a year probably.
hey,
And wherever he goes, LeBron may aim his free agency to just go, look, I get I'm be 40. I wanted to play a little bit longer, but I can see I can't play at that level. Wherever he goes, I'm spending a year there
hang on my son.
doing the Griffey Jr.
Yep, and I'll be Coach Moon. I'll Jackie Moon this thing because
Yep.
he can kind of. I guarantee he'll be like a coach/player. That he'll.
If they try to get that team in Las Vegas and he's trying to be on part of that,
Yeah.
I don't think they can get it in enough time where he
No.
can be the Jackie Moon.
Yeah,
but he'll find a way.
Yeah, he'll when he's done. I mean, it's not a secret. He's basically told everybody he wants to buy into an NBA team.
Yeah.
And if you can, I don't know, you can
Sweeten the
persuade
deal.
him.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, LeBron, buy into our team. You know, minority ownership, that kind of thing. Hell, the Rockets, things are going so weird for the Rockets. They might as well just draft Bronny, see if they can get Bron there.
I
for
do.
the end.
Well, no, but see, like the Rockets make sense. I don't get like there's some teams though that you're like, would he really go there? Like if Oklahoma City drafted Bronny, would be like, I love you, kid, but I'm gonna retire.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry,
gonna come
Bronny.
watch your games.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm
we'll
not
play
gonna
each other a
work-
couple times a year.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great point too. If some, basically, if one of the kind of dumpster fire franchise decides they want to go all in on Bronny, does
Yeah.
LeBron still decide he wants to play with his son? I think he does. I think he
Yeah.
will. I think he
I'll
will.
tell you the team. I'll tell you the team that needs to do it. It's Portland. Portland needs to go after Bronny and just be like, look. Then we have Dame and LeBron, and they're gonna be, we're just gonna try it one time.
Oh, you'll be on TV a lot.
It's the only way we're getting any free agent to come
You'll
here.
put a
Yeah.
lot of butts in seats. I'll tell you that right now. No doubt, no doubt. All right, that's a good conversation there. We'll get. I want to get to Raj Rant, but before we do that, just a brief conversation about the Miami Heat, who are also up 3-0 in their series over the Celtics, guys. And we talked about this. Even Magic Johnson said it. Magic Johnson never has a hot take.
Never
He
talks
has
it.
the most
Never talks
vanilla
about.
takes,
Yep.
and they are the most lukewarm takes. It's like Lakers won a game today. Good for the Lakers. Go Lakers. That's about as vanilla as it
Big
gets.
Magic Johnson.
Yeah. He actually said that the Boston Celtics quit.
Yes.
In a tweet, said they quit, and I agree. They did look like they laid down.
After the night, let's see what he says about the Lakers.
See what he says about his own Lakers. Yeah, matter of fact, you need to
I'm going to pay attention to that tonight.
What they say, those glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Exactly.
Hey, Magic, your house is glass,
Hey,
homeboy.
it's looking fragile.
But the Miami Heat with a 128-102 win over the Celtics in Game 3 to take a 3-0 lead on them. And I love this stat that the Miami Heat are the first 8th seed to ever win a playoff game by 25-plus points, at least since 1984, I should say. So maybe not 18, but the first team since 1984. They also are the first underdog since the 1986 Rockets to win 3 straight games as an underdog in the conference finals. This is a magnificent display of coaching, leadership, culture, basketball character. Not saying they ain't got skill. They got a ton of skill.
For sure.
But, guys, you realize the Heat's rotation of players, which is basically 9 players, have more undrafted players in their rotation than lottery picks? This is like a Spurs-like story that's coming together. And those guys, Gabe Vincent, 29 points. Duncan Robinson, 22 points. Max Struss, 10 points. Caleb Martin, 18 points. All undrafted guys that basically were the leading scorers for them in Game 3. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy thinking that this is a team that the Heat got so much flack for being the bought team with LeBron James and Chris Bosh, and you just bought yourself a championship, and now they have it on the complete flip opposite side.
Ding, ding, ding.
That is a great point, man. So they've done it both ways. If they win the title this way, that would truly be an extraordinary feat for Pat Riley. Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra. We got to start giving Eric Spoelstra a lot of credit, too.
Yes, we do.
We've Harge brought that up as well, and I agree with him 100%. Here's a Pat Riley little nugget for you that is just mind-blowing.
This is totally unbelievable.
So if they go to the finals, which it seems to be a safe assumption that they're going to go to the finals, they're up 3-0, and no team has ever collapsed after a 3-0 lead in the playoffs in the conference finals. Pat Riley, 1 win away from his 19th appearance in the NBA Finals as a player, coach, or executive. 19. That will mean that Pat Riley has either played in, coached in, or been his team's top decision maker in 24.7% of all the finals in NBA history.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable when you sit there and you think about it. And you look at over the time, right? We always talked about Red Auerbach, right? What he was able to do with the Boston Celtics. And I know everybody always talk about Boston was always cheating up there.
There was pre-salary cap for a lot of this.
Yeah, they had so many great players at one time.
And the draft wasn't done the same way where you basically drafted people from your area, and they basically had the Northeast locked up, so any good player from the Northeast would go to the Celtics.
Yeah. And then you look at what we saw with your dynasty, Patrick, with Pop and how he's built it throughout these years. But when you look at Pat Riley's track record, from when he was with the Lakers, where he was when he went to Miami, where he was when he was with the Knicks. I mean, you think about the markets of what he's been in and the players that he's had around him, and he's always good. You want to have somebody, what was their race relations? Have Pat Riley talk to people. Because Pat Riley seems to always have the brothers on his side.
Pat Riley's so damn cool.
Yes. He's still up there looking like he's chilling with the slick back hair.
He does, man. Pat Riley's got so much swag.
But he knows it's like Texas will try and get these guys to come on to the basketball team because we can't have all 5 stars. Because we have all 5 stars, no one's going to have that real dog in them.
Exactly.
And we got to get – and Serge Rice was that last year. It was like we need a guy who is fighting for his life, his basketball life on this court every day. And Miami has a bunch of those guys on that roster.
Yeah, they do.
And that helps
your
culture.
They're all paying for that. Yeah, they're all paying for that. They're playing for that contract. They're all trying to get money now. And so they're dialed in. And again, you talk about the underdog and you talk about the non-drafted players. Look at what Spoelstra did. Spoelstra started from the bottom. So his story to them is relatable.
Yeah.
Because he was a film guy.
I agree with that.
And now he's leading this team. So when he goes in there and he's talking about, hey, guys, nobody believed in me either. I had to watch film and break it down and be the guy that was bringing coffee to the office, picking up donuts, running errands. You guys are me. Let's go.
Yeah.
And he's out there motivating.
And then he got Udonis Haslam trying to fight anybody who don't practice hard.
Hey, you better get out there and practice. I've been in the league longer than the Bronx.
Just sitting in the back playing dominoes with somebody in the back.
Coaching them up.
No, if the Miami Heat, this improbable story actually ends up being a championship story, basically Eric Spoelstra will be tied for 3rd in NBA Finals appearances and 7th in rings.
Unbelievable.
So he would be in discussion
He's
with
gotta
Red
be.
Auerbach, Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, Popovich.
Hall of
He'd be
Fame
right there
coach.
in that conversation.
Hall
man.
of Fame coach.
All right, let's talk about some other Hall of Famers. ESPN, I think it was Bill Connolly, actually released their top 75 quarterbacks since 2000 in all of college football. It relates to one of my most unpopular sports takes that I've ever had on the airwaves here in ATX. And I'm sorry, but we got to bring it back. It's a hated oldie, but a goodie. Right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104 Down the Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about my favorite new tequila. Well, it's not new anymore. It's new, maybe new to you, but to me, it's a oldie and a goodie and my favorite tequila, my go-to tequila, and it's Hot Cat Tequila. The cat stands for cinnamon, agave, and tequila, and the recipe is just as simple and just as delicious. It's just cinnamon, agave, nectar, and tequila. That's why it's so light and so smooth. As a matter of fact, this weekend, got a chance to enjoy a little Hot Cat Tequila. And I tell you right now, if you are just want to get the party started, maybe you just want to relax after a long, hard day, enjoying a little Hot Cat Tequila is the best way to do it. If you're not a fan of tequila, Hot Cat Tequila is so good, it'll turn you into a fan of tequila. It will turn any event into a party, and every party feels like a celebration. So celebrate and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. Once you try Hot Cat, why would you ever go back to that old cinnamon whiskey or that cheap tequila you ordered rounds of and you were just trying to get the party started? Turn up your party with Hot Cat Tequila. It's the perfect way to pregame for all the big games, concerts, festivals, or any night on the town with family and friends. Best served cold for a quick round of shots or to sip on the rock. So visit Cat Tequila, that's cattequila.com, to find a store near you that sells Hot Cat Tequila or to find a bar near you that serves Hot Cat Tequila. Toast and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. I want to get to this ranking by ESPN and Bill Connolly. So they got together and they ranked the top 75 college quarterbacks since 2000. And they didn't really give you a concrete criteria. I'm sure it's ESPN staff, Bill Connolly, so he's ESPN staff writer. So I'm sure he's got his own formula for it, algorithm, whatever. But they don't really list that, and I'm sure it's more, obviously, it is more subjective than objective because he doesn't necessarily list what the criteria is for everything. He just says the quarterbacks play in the 2000s, basically. So if you play in the 2000s, you can make the list. So I'll just give you let's go through like the top 15 because it's a really long list. So we can talk about this list probably for the next week or so. It's a really long list. Let's go with the top 15. That'll take care of the Longhorn quarterbacks. Then we can kind of break the list down from some of the other highlights and lowlights. And now get to my unpopular sports opinion, which still resonates to this day. And this list kind of reminded me of that. So number 15 on the list is Sam Bradford. Number 14 on the list is Kellen Moore. 13 on the list is Johnny Manziel. 12, Colt McCoy. 11, Trevor Lawrence. 10, RG3. 9, Marcus Mariota. 8, Lamar Jackson. 7, Kyler Murray. 6, Deshaun Watson. 5, Joe Burrow. 4, Tim Tebow. 3, Vince Young. 2, Cam Newton. And 1, Baker Mayfield. I would just say this. Oklahoma has got to be more represented on this list than any other quarterbacks any other program that I've seen, because they have 5 guys on the list.
Yep. They
got, just talked about it, actually more than 5. They got 6 guys on the list. Take that back. They got Baker Mayfield, number 1. They got Kyler Murray at 7, Sam Bradford at 15, Jalen Hurts, I know, back and forth, Bama and OU, at 25, Jason White at 32, and Landry Jones
at 39.
At 39.
Yeah.
And the reason I won't hate on that's because Oklahoma's won the Big 12. No, I'm not. I think they've right. won it. And this may sound like an exaggeration because the number off the top of my head is tough to remember. I think they've won the Big 12 with like 8 different quarterbacks. I'm not making that number up.
Well,
I think all these guys have won the Big 12.
I was going to say.
That's 6 of them.
I was
and
just
I want to say there's some other jabronis to throw in there too that have also won it. I want to say they won the Big 12 with 7 or 8 different quarterbacks. It's one of those kind of numbers. And when Texas wins the Big 12, it's usually kind of a transcendent quarterback, or at least going back to Colt and VY to get you in that conversation. Okay, so here's we can get into the list a little bit and debate that, but let me start with my unpopular sports opinion that I told you guys that I would revisit. And I'm sure CB remembers this because I'm sure CB hates it. This take. But I did say that, and this was way back in the day, and we were having a debate about what all-time great college quarterback would you take. So this is before Baker Mayfield was even on the scene in the conversation. And the conversation came down to Cam Newton, VY, and Tim Tebow. And it was a Cam Newton kind of VY conversation they were having. And I said I would take Cam Newton over VY. Slight edge, slight advantage. Not that I don't love VY. Of course I love Vince Young. But the reason I gave Cam Newton a slight edge back then, and Bill Connolly gives him an edge here too, he doesn't list exactly why, or he didn't say exactly why he was listed over Cam Newton. Cam Newton, the team that he won the national title with, I don't remember any of those guys being great NFL players or even high draft picks at all. My take was that basically Cam Newton did more with less. He did more with less. And you look at him, and this is a crazy stat that you have to throw out there about Cam Newton. I saw this stat actually over the weekend before this list even came out. If you go look at the 2010 national title team for Auburn, Cam Newton is the only member of that team with an NFL reception, rush attempt, or pass attempt, and only one of the O-linemen started an NFL game.
What?
I'll repeat. that 2010 Auburn National Championship, that team, Cam Newton is the only member of that team with an NFL reception, rush attempt, or pass attempt. And only one of their offensive linemen started an NFL game. Just one.
Wow.
You know how many of VY's offensive linemen were drafted and started in the NFL?
Every one of them.
Every one of them.
Except for Lyle Sinline, I think he was
undrafted, but he started 9 or 10 years in the league.
Yes, and started every game. Yes.
Was a beast.
Yes.
All 5 of them.
Yep.
Guys, I mean, I know, listen, VY is awesome. I call him Black Jesus, too. But what Cam Newton did there at Auburn, he did way
it was something
more
ridiculous.
With way less talent around him. Sorry, I know Longhorn fans don't like that. How about this? I'll give you another little stat about him because I went deeper. He basically was a one-man show. There only one other player from that Auburn 2010 offense, left tackle Lee Ziemba, was picked in the 2011 draft. He went in the 7th round to the Panthers. He played in 6 total games. Outside of Newton, the most prominent NFL player from that Auburn offense was lineman Brandon Mosley, who also was a 2012 4th-round draft pick. And the only one of Cam Newton's receivers, running backs, or tight ends to appear in a regular season NFL game was Ontario McCaleb. Remember that guy?
No.
Who played 5
No.
Who played 5 snaps on special teams for the Bengals in 2014. Guys.
That's amazing.
Nothing. Like he didn't have he was a one-man wrecking crew out there. VY was too. VY was awesome. But VY played with, man, Selvin Young was a hell of a player in the backfield. Jamal Charles holds the record for yards per rush in NFL history. He just eclipsed Jim Brown a few years when he was playing.
Said Benson.
That was just 2005. Said was already
just,
gone.
You talking about just the 05
on that
year.
05 team.
Okay.
Straight out gone. But you had Ahmad Hall, who's an NFL fullback. Lyman Swede was a 2nd-round pick. I mean, that's the only reason I say I do give Cam Newton
Griffin
a slight.
don't
even go to defense. Oh,
yeah.
I'm talking about just offense.
Gotcha.
Yo, defense, you had like what?
Yeah.
5, 6 first-round, 2nd-round picks on that defense alone?
Yeah.
Guys, it was a better defense than the Auburn defense. We know that. So my point was that I didn't think Cam Newton did more with less. Do I think Cam Newton's a better player than VY? I mean, that's a difficult conversation to have. There's a lot of nuance in that conversation. But there's no doubt that Cam Newton did more with less.
It's a very fair argument. That is
look at the roster
argument.
that was around VY. It was unbelievable. So, like I said, I've just revisited my very unpopular opinion, my very unpopular take. It's one of those unpopular hills you're willing to die on. That was my unpopular hill I was willing to die on. I was like, no, I'm sorry. It's just true. I know nobody wants to hear it, but it is the truth in the way I see it. I know a lot of Longhorn fans will disagree with that, but give me the reason why you give VY the edge, other than I love VY. He's awesome. Can you give me some analytical, statistical proof, evidence as to why VY is better than Cam as a college player? And you're like, he played longer. That's why, to me, Cam gets the edge. VY played longer. He had longer to establish himself with the team, get rapport. Cam Newton came from a damn JUCO that year. It was less than a year he was on campus, I believe.
And won a championship there, too, by the way, at a JUCO. At Blinn.
And so they said Cam Newton didn't beat the greatest team ever. Yeah, that's a good point. He didn't. So if you want to throw that out there, you can. You can go out there and say VY did it all on his own. Did he do it all on his own? Maybe.
I don't know about that because I know Michael Huff came and made a tackle on 3rd and short.
And I know Michael Griff made a hell of a play.
Michael Griff stopped it on the goal line.
Cam Newton was more of a one-man show. He was more of a one-man wrecking crew. There's no doubt. Did VY go out there and have the most exciting moment in college football history? Yes, because I would say VY played, and it's hard to say this too because Cam Newton played the game. VY, they played the game with the same type of swagger too.
Yep.
There was a swag to the way he played the game. And it brought fans. Like, fans liked watching VY.
Cam caught a touchdown pass in a game to win.
Yeah.
He lined up at wide receiver, and they threw him the ball because he was 6'5". And he's like, throw me the ball over here. Very interesting.
I
didn't realize that you had that unpopular opinion.
I mean,
that's nice though.
I'm not hating on VY.
Not at all.
Saying, I'm just there's no doubt Cam had less talent around him to accomplish similar things.
It wasn't that Gene Chizik?
It was. Yeah. Think about it. They fired Gene Chizik the next year. Guys, go look at the record.
Auburn.
Can we go look at the record? I didn't even bring it up. Thank you, Hart. Bring the record up of Auburn before and after Cam Newton. Let's go look at 2009 Auburn and see what they were doing in 2009 Auburn.
Yep.
Do you remember that record? I want to say it won like 4 games or something like that.
They were awful.
Okay, no, sorry, I was wrong. 8 games. I apologize. They won 8 games.
They were awful because of the fact that they were getting ready to fire their coach.
No, they won in 2010. Of course, they won national title, and then in 2011 they go 8-5 in 2011. So they went 8-5 back to back, and then they went 3-9. That's when he's fired. So they went 3-9 2 years later, and then he's fired.
Yep.
So they're a good football team on both sides, but then he took them to another level. So like I said, it's a debate, and it's a healthy debate. Just saying it was an unpopular sports opinion that I thought about that I had to bring back, and I think it's like 10 years old when I saw this list because I think I don't know if I'd have Baker Mayfield number 1. Hell,
Yeah.
Tim Tebow is probably in that conversation, but Baker Mayfield, I mean, his resume. It stacks.
I would have
stacks up
looked at Tim Tebow because of what he did with his team as far as being number 1. If they were going to put guys at number 1, I thought he did a good job. He did a great job at Florida when you look back at what that team ended up being. A bunch of criminals and wild folks on there for them to go out there and him to be able to go up for the Heisman Trophy twice, even though I didn't think Tim Tebow was that great of a quarterback, but he was a great leader and a great motivator, and he won the Heisman.
And I guess maybe that knocks VY a little bit too because he didn't win the Heisman. But I always tell Longhorn fans, you can't have both.
You can't have both.
You don't win the national title.
Championship.
You don't win the national title if VY is not so upset about being, disrespected by not winning. He wins that Heisman, I think he's a little satisfied, just a little bit. And maybe you don't get enough for that, for VY to have that Herculean effort at the end, that superhuman effort at the end. But it's an interesting conversation. Also, my other unpopular sports opinion, I'll say another one from back then, they don't – well, I guess they actually do kind of hold up here too. I once said, and I know people are going to hate it. I said it in 2008. So just keep in mind the time frame here, the context of it. I said in 2008 when Colt McCoy is playing at probably the best we've ever seen him. I said, honestly, if you take RG3 and bring him here to Texas, I do believe he would have similar results and win the Heisman.
He would have been playing safety.
I wasn't hating on Colt. I just said, no, you bring him here and put him in the same system, whatever, he'd have similar results because he's that elite of an athlete and that dynamic of an athlete, that quarterback.
Yeah.
And then he ends up winning the Heisman years later, and they have him ranked 10. They have Colt McCoy at 12.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd put him ahead of Colt McCoy, but it just reminded me of that unpopular sports opinion. Because RG3 did win the Heisman, so I guess that's why he gets the nod. But Colt's 2008 season and the 2009 season, man, that's two of the great. I think he set
really
the completion percentage record all time in 2008. It was broken, I believe, after that. But he said it in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, good discussion, though. Go check out that list, ESPN's top 75 quarterbacks since 2000. 2 Longhorns on there. VY at 3, Colt McCoy at 12. All right, we come back. Another off the record on the other side, right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn, Rod Babers here. As you guys know, I'm getting a little bit older. Hopefully, I'm getting a little bit wiser. But as I get older, I realize that a lot of things you just got to leave in the past. And some stuff I am ready to leave in the past, like social distancing, cancel culture, the Big 12 even. But one thing I'm never ready to leave behind and leave in the past is my favorite beer. That's Bud Light. I've been drinking Bud Light since my days on the 40 acres, on Dirty Six, balling out here at Texas through my time in the NFL as a player. And nowadays, as a reward after a job well done, after some yard work, or a way to decompress after a long, hard day. Bud Light is still my go-to beer for my Longhorn tailgates on Saturdays and NFL Sundays. So whether you want to toast and cheers to a brighter tomorrow or drown your sorrows, it's never a bad time to break out the Bud Light. Bud Light just isn't for anybody. It's for everybody. The best way to keep the good times going is to keep the Bud Light flowing. Bud Light is a sure sign of a good time because it turns good times into great times and the rest of the times into the best of times. So be the life of the party and bring more Bud Light to the party. Bud Light, brewed deep in the heart and proud of it. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when Patrick plays jams intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans who may have had a tough weekend. That was certainly the case for Celtics and Lakers fans over the weekend. All right, time for another off the record here, gentlemen. This story comes from, I got it from the New York Post, but it's another survey that was done. And this survey is about bachelor and bachelorette parties. Did you have a bachelor party, Harsh?
No, I did not have a bachelor party.
Oh, how many did you have?
5.
I can tell by the look at him. I was like, oh, that means he had more than one. You had 5?
No, this is a hard Rod. Harge knows every damn buddy. So to fit everybody Harge knows in,
That's true.
I'm surprised it's only 5.
That's a good point. You're
Well,
right.
I had some limited.
Yeah.
I had some restrictions. Couldn't have 10.
Okay, so where these take place? Now I'm curious now.
All over, bro.
Like all over this country?
No. All over the state of.
Because some
Texas.
people go to different cities and stuff.
No, I made everybody come to me because I still had to go home.
Yeah,
You know
still
what
had
I'm
to go
saying?
home. You
Still
damn
had to
right
go
you
home.
did.
Yep.
Love should have brought you home last night.
And it did.
And it did. Yes, it does. BonusFinder.com surveyed 6,000 people about bachelorette and bachelor parties. And apparently there are a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of dishonesty and potential infidelity happening at bachelor parties based on these studies. So apparently this study done by BonusFinder.com, it said the most common instances of infidelity were relatively chaste, including, they said, a lap dance, which that's not infidelity to me. It said 33% people got a lap dance. There was 22% kissing. I guess that may be a little outside the lines.
Mm-hmm.
That's outside the lines, right? 11.2% of attendees admitted to sleeping with someone.
What?
Oh, yeah. And 9% said they got they actually had some group stuff going on, little group love
Turn up.
at the bachelorette party. Now, you had 5 of these things.
Yeah, but I don't remember. I don't remember half of them.
I did not inhale.
I did not inhale. I did not.
Oh, there you go. I don't think my bachelor party was that turned up.
No,
Where
but
was yours
I,
at? Was yours in town?
Yeah, it was in ATL.
How many did you have?
Just one.
Oh, okay.
I would also venture.
It was a COVID party though, so it wasn't COVID. Yeah. Because I got married during COVID.
I would
right.
venture to
That's right.
guess if you are sleeping with somebody at your bachelor party, this is not the first time you have cheated on that person.
I agree with that.
I don't think you're finding out you're a cheater at your bachelor party.
I agree with this. Yeah.
That's
I think-
a great point, Patrick.
I think that's one where they're like, oh, you did that? And you're like, oh, if you knew the other stuff I did.
Yeah, the thing about cheating at your bachelor party is you got a lot of witnesses.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a
You
lot
got
of
your
witnesses.
boys that
You're
you already
bold.
know.
and you better
Yeah.
believe somebody didn't called.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you already got
You
your
got a
boys
snitch
there
in your
that
group.
already know you're cheating on your girl.
Because there's a one of your boys in your group, his girl is friends with
Yep.
your girl,
Yep.
and he's definitely gonna pillow talk and say way too much. And
What
then
happened
get
at
your
that?
brother-
You should've
Oh, it
seen
got
that
crazy.
fool over
They're
there.
gonna be drinking one night and go, oh, it got crazy. What happened? This, that? Wait, what? No, I didn't mean that. No.
What you mean crazy? Oh, it wasn't nothing.
No, did I say Steve? Did I say Steve? I meant Marcus. Marcus was the one.
I
Steve
meant
was
Steve
good.
Venn.
Yeah, Steven. Steve.
Oh, you
Steve.
don't know him? You know Steven?
You don't know Steven.
Oh no, dude, we kicked him out of the group. He's crazy.
Steven, I know you always blame it on some random dude. There's always one troublemaker. Everything gets blamed on him in the group.
There's a movie coming out about this.
Is it really?
There's a movie I think with John Cena in it.
Yes, because
where
every
it's
guy group
basically-
has that guy.
The premise of the movie is it's 4 friends who continue to blame things on one magic, on like
Yes.
a made-up person, and then their wives are like, "Well, we need to meet this person,"
'Cause he's
and so they have to hire somebody to be that
Right.
person.
That is a great premise for a
So
movie.
that is a movie that
Because every guy group has that dude. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, I'm going to be out a little bit later. I'm blaming you. I'm going to say, you started acting crazy. You started wilding out. I had to get you to the crib. All out of stuff about you. So I can say out here at 2 a.m. and my woman won't be asking where I am.
Yeah.
I'm with you. But you, I take care of you. That's why I got to be with you because you're such an S shell, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just so
Hey,
irresponsible.
and by the way, I've told people to
And they
use me
will
as that
believe it's
before.
you.
Yes,
because I'm like,
you're
look,
single.
dude, I'm like, we're just hanging out, we're fine. But if you got to tell her that I'm an idiot who drank too much,
Yes.
go right ahead.
Because you're the single guy. Single guys
Yeah.
can be that. You got to be that guy
Yeah.
for the
I'm
guys.
not
with
getting in
relationship.
trouble.
Yes. See, Patrick understands. That's why you're a great wingman, Patrick. Just the fact that you know that, no, you are way ahead of the game, man. There you go. Every group's. What's the name of this guy?
Patrick has been that guy. He
He's been
says.
that guy. So what's the name of this guy? Do we have a name for it? Because wingman, is that just an extension of the wingman duties?
That is definitely an extension
of the wingman
Yeah.
duties. You're just a wingman, like for relationship people.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and the worst part is none of it's even bad. It's literally the guy just like, I'm just having fun, and I just want to keep having fun for
I
2
wanna
more
sit
hours
down on the toilet when I pee,
and that's it. And then that's all it is. Like I just want to, like I don't want to have to go home, but she's at home by herself, and so she's mad that I'm having fun and she's not having any fun.
Yeah.
So and it's like, yeah, just say I'm an asshole.
That what you don't realize about relationships is that your woman only wants you to have fun with her.
Yeah.
If you're having way too much fun without your woman, she doesn't like that. You can be having yourself a decent time. You can be enjoying yourself. But if you're having way too much fun, I'm talking about getting on the phone, like, babe,
Yeah.
oh, man, hey, shut up, hard.
Yeah.
You wildin', boy. All right, babe, I can't even hear you. It is so weird, wildin'. She is already upset. And it doesn't matter if she knows where you are and you got proper reason to be there. Nope, she is mad because you're having way too much fun. And it's without her.
And that's
like
without her.
It's without her. That's what else is like. Why are you having so much fun without me? Yeah. So don't act like you're having too much fun without your woman. That'll get you in trouble.
I just want to be the funnest guy. I just want to be the most fun.
You always act like it's more fun with her. When you call, you're like, babe, man, I hate being here. Hard's got me out here, man. They tripping. The drink's too high.
And I'm noticing that my name is popping up in this thing. You're supposed to say Patrick.
Sorry,
You're supposed to say Patrick.
What are you? I'm already blaming Howard. You're right. Yeah, someone says he's sacrificial lamb. How about this? Yeah, Crystal Plummer says, I'm that guy, proudly. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the fall guy. Texas said that guy is called the fall guy. I think you're right. I think it's the fall guy.
Yeah.
Not the wingman. You're the fall guy. You're the fall guy and the wingman. It's good. There you go.
I like it.
All right. We come back. We'll get into NFL news, notes, and nuggets. There's a new quarterback rule we have to address. We'll talk about that. Also, we'll get into a little Texas baseball discussion in the 6 o'clock as well. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. All right, what's up, folks? Lifetime Logo and Rod Babers here. We all know that the quality of your smile can truly affect the quality of your life, and somebody who knows that all too well is Dr. Greg Eckert and his all-star team. And he's been working diligently to make sure that he's basically had all the technological advances to provide you with the best quality dental care and the best smile that you can get. Matter of fact, the first time I met Dr. Greg Eckert, I went to his office, sat down for a little while in the waiting room, and I saw a woman come out of one of the exam rooms, and she was crying. And I thought to myself, see, this is why I don't come to the dentist. She seemed like she was in pain. No, turns out she was actually crying tears of joy. She told us a story that she had never had her smile worked on by dentists before, and Dr. Greg Eckert gave her the smile she had always wanted. It was a smile of her dreams, and when she saw herself for the first time, she was brought to tears. That's the quality of life that he's talking about that can be affected by the quality of your smile. And right now, Dr. Greg Eckert can give you a brand new smile in just one day, permanently secured to your dental implants. We're talking about no time spent without teeth. You get temporary fixtures as they complete your permanent smile, and you'll smile again with confidence and eat freely without pain or discomfort. We're talking about a lifelike permanent solution. So if you've been told your teeth need to be replaced, just call Dr. Greg Eckert today and learn about this revolutionary alternative to dentures. It's a brand new smile in just one day. It sounds too good to be true. It's not. It's just Dr. U. 512-345-3166. That's 512-345-3166. A confident smile can truly change your life. Visit dreckert.com, DRUECKERT.com. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when my man Patrick plays jams that are intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans out there. Well, mostly just Lakers fans and Celtics fans feel like tortured souls these days.
I know, that's why it's a little bit happier today.
It is.
You know, because we're Texas fans.
That's true.
Things went well for us this weekend.
Texas baseball winning, shared the Big 12 title. Texas softball balling out, beating up on them Aggies.
Yes, sir.
That was a beautiful thing. And
Texas golf is in the mix right now.
Shout out.
They're number 2 behind Stanford. So they're playing right now on Golf Network. But it looks like Texas will win another Directors Cup if this holds and Texas gets a regional in baseball, because they're saying that the projections are having them winning the Directors Cup again.
Really?
Yep.
Is it Stanford?
Stanford's
always
squad.
in that.
Stanford is the one that they're up against.
I mean, can you? It's just so crazy. I love the direction. They've won 2 in a row now.
Yep. Back to back.
Back to back. And I love those. It's great. Just shows that, that basically CDC and Kevin Eltife and, Jay Hartzell, Chris Plonsky, shout out to over there as well. They've done a really good job overall with the athletic department. We focus a lot on the major revenue-producing sports. Yep. We don't focus enough on the entire athletic department, but it is a stellar athletic department. It really is. So got to give all of them over there some credit, especially now that they are in the running for another Directors Cup. And by the way, Texas football, I've said this before, I hope they don't take it personal, Texas football hadn't done much.
They're still not
to
part
help
of the
out
success.
this Directors Cup. That's just the truth about it. So imagine when Texas football gets back on.
Yep.
Hey, as we said, hey man, we played the schedule game. We all got them a 10-win season.
I got them at 10.
We're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, no, you're right. And like I said, so if Texas football ends up turning things around, man, you talk about these Directors Cups, Texas could go on a hell of a run. With these Directors Cups, because I don't know how, and it's based, the point system is based on how far you finish in that sport, right? A championship obviously counts for more points. It's not based on individual sports.
No, it's all together. It's all cumulative.
Yeah. All right, so shout out to them. We'll get to some Texas baseball conversation and give a shout out to Texas softball as well on next segment. We'll get back into that conversation. Okay. Let's get to this. We'll get some NFL news, notes, and nuggets. I want to get to some Cowboys discussion, but there's an NFL story that broke that has now become headline news and the biggest topic of conversation probably right now in the NFL, and it has to do with one Tom Brady.
Brady.
You told me about this in the break, and it was rumored to be in the works last week, but now it looks like it's going to happen.
Yeah, it looks like right now, as of right now, Tom Brady is being vetted, so to speak. It's got to get NFL approval. It's got to get ownership approval for him to become a minority ownership of the Las Vegas Raiders. There was stories going out there for a long time that everybody thought he was going to head west, thought maybe he would go to San Francisco. Now you look at, they got McDaniels as the head coach there, and Tom Brady now will be one of the minority owners of the Las Vegas Raiders. He's already minority owner of the Las Vegas Aces. So he's joining the group, I guess, with Mark Davis and being a part of it.
And remember, Miami, they got in trouble with tampering because originally the reports have indicated that Tom Brady was working with ownership with the Miami Dolphins, or at least behind the scenes, talking with ownership of the Miami Dolphins. And there was conversations being had about him not only getting some type of minority ownership, but also being a player.
Yes.
Talking about Jackie Moon style, going to be was going to be the franchise quarterback as well as a minority owning the team. And of course, we found out later on that tampering charges resulted from that instance.
Yes.
Where the Miami Dolphins reached out to Tom Brady. We don't know how much or if it was reciprocated, but they lost a first-round pick as a result of that.
Yeah.
So that was serious. And remember, we know now too, it was Belichick that ended up blowing the whistle.
He knew.
He did it by mistake. He said it was by I'm an old man mistaken text.
Hey.
He said I sent it to the wrong Brian. Remember, he thought he was sending it to. He says he was sending it to Brian Dayball and it went to Brian Flores on accident. It was
That's
like,
how that go.
man, you knew what you was doing. You didn't want Tom Brady in your division coming back to get revenge on you and the Patriots by whipping y'all twice a year with them Miami Dolphins. You didn't want that to happen. And
No
you know
doubt.
what? I don't blame Bill Belichick for that. I'd have sent that text too,
No doubt.
mistakenly.
My bad.
My bad. Did I blow up your plan, Tom?
My
I'm so
bad.
sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of how it all went down. But I will say that Tom Brady right now has got to be. It's something about him stalking Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Because Jimmy Garoppolo's got to be right now. He's got to be incensed. He's got to be upset. He has to be.
That's right, I forgot D's there.
Jimmy Garoppolo is there.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think this is
No.
more. I think this is more that the Raiders saw that I came around and were like, "Let's be the Patriots of Vegas," and they're just going full Patriots mode now.
It could be.
And
Now
they're
that
just
you're gone, now they want to clean things up a little bit.
no, they just were trying to ruin my life by doing the Patriots again. They didn't know I'm gone. And they're still going full force with it.
Well, as long as the Texans don't readopt the Patriots of the
God.
South. There's only room in the NFL for one Patriots of the whatever.
I like it.
Patriots of the West, Patriots of the South. No, just be the Patriots of the West, and then the Texans can move on. But guys, if you're Jimmy G, how are you receiving this? How you digesting this? You left Tom Brady. Basically, Tom Brady is the reason you were kind of forced out of New England. Say that he left on his own, but he was traded, and he was happily traded because he wanted to go to a team to be a franchise quarterback, to be that quarterback of the future, and went to San Fran, and we all know how that went down. He was fragile, he couldn't stay healthy, but still won a lot of games and made some runs in the playoffs. And there was even talk, remember, when Tom Brady left the Patriots, that he wanted to go to San Fran.
Yep.
That he wanted to go usurp Jimmy out there. And then Jimmy ends up leaving San Fran because they got their quarterback of the future with Mr. Irrelevant and Trey Lance. And then he goes to Vegas and thinks to himself, thank God, I'm finally in Las Vegas. I'm back with Josh McDaniels, a guy that likes me, believes in me. This is my job. I'm going to be the franchise quarterback at least for a while till they figure out something else. And then Tom freaking Brady decides he wants to be the minority owner. You can't get away from this dude.
No, it's gonna be really annoying when he goes to get tickets for like somebody in his group, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, this whole section's taken by Tom Brady, so we can get you some standing room only." I'm a starting quarterback.
Yes.
Now I know, but Tom asked for 350 tickets, so we had to get those for him.
I mean, you can't get up from beneath the shadow of Tom Brady for some reason. So I feel bad for Jimmy G, actually. But this is really good for the NFL.
I don't. He is a millionaire, good-looking man. He's a starting quarterback in Sin City. I think he's doing just fine. Tom Brady's going to come over there and not get a say in what they do because he's a minority owner.
He'll obviously Tom Brady won't be making any real decisions, but now there is this. He can't escape that lore.
They will.
Of Tom Brady.
He will have to do this. Is that they're going to reach out to Tom Brady for comment anytime he struggles.
Oh yeah, and they're going to ask. I guarantee ownership was going to ask Tom Brady's advice on how to handle Jimmy G if something goes wrong. Like, hey, what would you do about Jimmy G?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Tom Brady, I do think it's good for the NFL. The NFL is trying to I think they want to be like the NBA, and they can have one day a former player as he's not going to be like a majority owner or anything like MJ. I don't think that's going to happen. But remember we talked about how the NFL needs a billionaire athlete at one point, and when are they going to start embarking on that? Because the NBA's already got 2 of them. Major League Baseball should have had some by now, but Major League Baseball doesn't market his athletes,
Not
correctly.
the way they should.
Yeah, and the NFL just doesn't have enough guaranteed money to even start to produce a future billionaire athlete. But Tom Brady might be the closest right now.
He's definitely.
But we don't know how the cryptocurrency situation worked out for him. Reportedly, he lost money with that, and then the divorce. You always lose money in divorces. So he might have been on his way to being the first billionaire NFL player. But now, that may not happen for a while.
But don't you have to have X amount of dollars to be able to be in this conversation?
For minority ownership, I'm not sure how much it is.
It depends because minority ownership could be 1%. It could be 0.5%. Like it doesn't. It just means you're a part of it. It basically means you have to find somebody who has a stake in it and then buy some out of it. Yeah. That's all it means. Like for the Spurs, they just had a deal, which is actually a decent amount of minority ownership. But I believe it's Aramark, who is like the vendor company, is basically selling out of all of their sports ownership. And so that was a sell, like they sold that part of the Spurs ownership, and it freaked a lot of people out because there was a lot of rumors about the Spurs being sold last year. And it turns out that it was more about that they were selling a minority owner, but a large minority ownership. So there's that kind of stuff happens. You just have to find somebody willing to sell. I guess he found it, or Mark Davis has enough of it that he wanted some cash to help run the team. And you go, okay, I'll sell you 3% of it for X amount of cash, my 3% if I own 80% of the team. And now I own 77%. I'm still the majority owner.
Yeah.
So you can do that as well to just raise some cash
to
pay some of these players and stuff.
Yeah, because as the valuation of the team, continues to increase, then that 1% or whatever is worth a whole lot more than it was before. It's always a wise investment. You see more of these Hollywood celebrities investing in like soccer teams now.
A lot of them are.
J.J. Watts, I think, him and his wife just bought into a soccer team. I believe some minority ownership, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, it's right now sports is a booming business.
Yes.
Right now,
soccer is definitely a booming.
Soccer's
business.
a boom. I mean, it's just live sports in general. What I've been told by people who are in the marketing and advertising industry is that basically there's only 3 things that Americans will watch live, and sports is one of them. It's sports, it's news, and then it's basically kind of disaster porn, whatever you want to call that. Like basically when there's a disaster on, they cover it for 3 straight hours. Americans, we're fixated on kind of watching that kind of stuff too.
So sad, but we are.
Well, we got a lot of disasters, unfortunately, that happen in this country. And then we end up following. So those are the only things we watch live. Everything else we want to stream or we'll DVR it. So that's why sports continues to be a huge
my pest
investment.
of the week.
Streaming?
Streaming. It's so doggone hard when you're trying to find something and you log in, you don't remember half the time, depending on where. Man, it's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, did you see that Will Anderson, speaking of the Texans, Will Anderson was at the Lakers game with Bijan Robinson?
I saw that, and hanging out with Denzel Washington.
And
They were hanging out with all of them.
Yeah.
And it's Rich Paul. Rich Paul, Clutch Sports. They're both Clutch Sports guys.
Okay.
And
So that's what it was.
Boo.
And so that was why they were both there. But it was funny to see them together, and you're like, oh, and then they're talking to Denzel, and you're like, all right, Bijan, teach Will Anderson some good characteristics. I think Roshan was there too. Somewhere in the stands.
Surprise me.
He did not have the same seats, but I think his Instagram had a thing of it too.
He didn't have the same. Of course he didn't.
He did not. He had,
well, hey,
he had them
Rojo's
day 2 seats. He didn't have that day 1 seat.
Yeah, exactly. Rojo's a star to us, but not everybody. But not yet. I should say that.
He will be in the mother seat soon.
Yeah, he's not Clutch either. I think he's Rock Nation.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. I didn't realize he was with Rock Nation. There you go. So nice update. Yeah, and I heard Denzel's little comment to Bijan about Texas. I think he's like, "Oh, you from Texas, right?" Texas. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "They still spitting them out." He's talking about Texas running backs have a reputation. They still spitting them out. I love me some Denzel. Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's get to this story too, because Patrick sent this, and I think it's long overdue. I think we knew the NFL was going to address this. There were some reports they were going to address it. Now it has officially been addressed. The NFL owners approved a rule Monday that allows teams to designate an emergency quarterback on game day, a rule they revived after the San Francisco 49ers ran out of quarterbacks during their loss in the NFC Championship game last season. The rule applies only to quarterbacks who are on the team's 53-man roster. Practice squad players are not eligible to be emergency quarterbacks, not even if they're elevated for that week's game. Ooh.
Yep.
But it allows a team to avoid counting the emergency quarterback as one of its active players on game day, a modest incentive for teams that otherwise would have chosen to go into a game with only 2 available quarterbacks. Now, keep in mind, this season, by my numbers, you only had 10 quarterbacks start every game in the NFL. And then you had more what they call unique starters. That means, more different starting quarterbacks than you've ever had in the history of the NFL. And now you add another game. So you're playing more games, and also more quarterbacks are having to play and start games because players are getting hurt or quarterbacks just, don't produce or they're performing in a subpar fashion. And a lot of injuries to the point we had multiple third string quarterbacks in the playoffs.
From every
Skylar
team.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brock Purdy was in the play. Oh, sorry, 3. You had because the Baltimore Ravens ended up
had
getting their backup
right.
too.
Anthony Brown or something like that.
Yeah, so I think that's really what it's about. The NFL understands they have a great product, but if you could help out a team at the most important position, which is quarterback, have some depth in the game, especially now we're embarking on 17-game seasons, and this is only the third season they have 17 games, so teams aren't really used to building rosters in that way. Give them a little bit of a fail-safe, and I think the emergency quarterback helps out. The quarterback position is the most important position in sports, arguably in sports, but in football, definitely. Everything important in our life, we take out insurance on it. House, health, life. Quarterbacks should be no different, and that's what your backup quarterbacks represent. It's just insurance on your QB position.
No doubt.
So there you go.
And I've said it before. You definitely have to pay for a quality backup.
Who's the Cowboys backup?
Who you think? Cooper Rush.
I thought Cooper Rush left.
No, he's still there, bro.
He's still there, right?
Yeah,
all right, good for him.
No, but I mean, we know Ben DiNucci's not there anymore.
You know where he is? Denver.
He's in Denver.
Oh, that's
now.
right. Sean Payton.
DiNucci.
If he makes that roster, to me that's a plus for the Cowboys and their quarterback drafting skills, because they don't draft a lot of quarterbacks, but the quarterbacks that they have drafted, Mike White, Dak Prescott, if DiNucci can make that squad, it may influence them to draft more quarterbacks, which they should. They should draft more quarterbacks.
Yeah. Do you see the NFL also approved flex scheduling for Thursday Night Football? Now, there's a bunch of rules for it. So, like, I know one of them is you can't have 2 away Thursday night games in the same season. And there's also, I believe, a 28-day window, like 28 days in advance you have to make the flex. So it's a blatant, like, you have to do it very far in advance. Yeah. It's not how we get flex for college football.
Like 2 weeks before a week, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it is 28 days is 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. So that is basically a month, because you have to change everything you're doing to flex that into a Thursday game.
That's true, because it got short weeks and long weeks, and teams have
how
to
you're
change
doing
things
rest
around.
and recovery in those weeks leading up to it, afterwards.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they're like, look, we need a month's notice if you want to flex something out. But I think it'll be for those games where they go, hey, man, we took a real stinker here. Both these teams are awful. Everyone's hurt. Can we flex in somebody else?
Happened to Amazon last year.
I was going to say, that's what Amazon was probably. Bezos was like, look, guys.
Look, I'll give you a lot of
money.
money.
A lot of money, guys.
Guys, hey, all you owners, free Prime.
Seriously, no, that's a good point, though, about the flex. I think for that Thursday game last year, they really put Russell Wilson in. I think he was in like 2 of those.
Well, because everybody thought Denver was going to be awesome.
So they put him in a lot of primetime games.
Put him in everything, and they were terrible.
They were doggish. Yeah.
And then the Raiders were in some, and the Chargers, because they were like, that division is going to be awesome. And Kansas City just smoked them all.
I remember thinking that division would be awesome. I still picked Kansas City. And
no, I think we all had different teams winning it last year. Yeah. And we should have all just stuck with
Kansas City. Yeah. I know. Yeah. But, hey, sometimes you need to go with the new, fresh feeling, and that's Denver. Like, that's why I went against Denver. I was like, Denver hasn't ever done it. Why the hell would I pick Denver and the Nuggets to do it this year when they've literally never, ever done it?
Yeah.
I'll say, first, when I see them do it, then I'll start picking Denver to do it. Well, Denver,
now you've seen it.
Seen it. I mean, it's glaring. It's like blinding right now, the way they are whipping up on them Lakers. So we'll get back to that conversation. Come back. Let's talk Texas baseball on the other side, Harge. Big series win, sweep, I should say. Broke out the brooms on West Virginia. It may have changed the entire complexion of the season for the Longhorns. We'll talk about that when we come back. And also give some props to Brooks Koepka. The big win at the PGA Championship. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn.
Mike Harge here, and now it's time to be part of the Premier Rugby 7 action. All you need to do is come out and party with the PR7s for the Eastern Conference kickoff on Saturday, June 17th at Q2 Stadium. PR7s, as it's known for short, is a rugby with for the American audience, featuring predominantly North American player pool, competing in some of the best entertainment facilities across the country. You can catch professional rugby at its best. You can see the team, headliners, locals, and the men's and women's Team Texas battle for a spot in the championship. Don't miss out on the ultimate Fan Fest experience with fun, games, drinks, music, and so much more. And it's all happening at Q2 Stadium June 17th. You can get your tickets today at pr7s.com. That's pr7s.com.
Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a Smooth Soul Monday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's when my man Patrick plays jams intended to soothe the tortured soul of sports fans who might have had a tough weekend. If you had a tough weekend, hey, hopefully my man Patrick can pick your spirits up a little bit. Before we get some Texas baseball discussion here, a couple of NBA nuggets. I know this will pick up Patrick's spirits a little bit. So I saw this story, and it's comes from, I think Mark Stein is the one that I saw it with. Yeah, Mark Stein, NBA insider Mark Stein. He is hinting that Tim Duncan is going to take a personal stake, personal touch, personal investment in one Wembanyama. He says the young phenom will have the benefit of learning from Hall of Famer Tim Duncan, who's expected to work with Wembanyama upon his arrival in San Antonio. So at the behest of longtime Spurs patriarch Greg Popovich, Tim Duncan agreed to join Pops' coaching staff for the 2019 season. That one season was enough for Duncan to reaffirm that what many suspected, what he would surely already knew, full-time coaching isn't for him. But the expectation is that he will regularly visit the team's practice facility to work with Wembanyama when the Spurs are home. So, yeah. The GOAT, one of the GOATs, is going to be working with, hopefully, another one.
Patrick, how are you feeling about this?
Oh, no, we kind of expected this,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
we knew this.
They want to confirm it for you, that's all.
Yeah, and what's funny
knew
about
it.
it, too, is they're like, you're like, Dave Robinson's going to work with this guy, too. He's got 2 Hall of Famers that are going to work with him.
Yeah.
And then Tony Parker's a Hall of Famer that'll work with him, and then Manu Ginobili's a Hall of Famer that's going to work with him.
Patrick dropping all them Hall of Famers.
Just saying, we got some Hall of Famers that are going to work with him. Because especially when you have a talent like that, too, everyone wants to be a part of that.
That is true.
Like, you want to,
Yeah.
because you want your that's part of your legacy now, too.
Yeah.
Is to go, hey, man, I could be one of the mentors to one of the greatest players of all time. And maybe again, I'm not trying to set unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
But we know he has potential. There is a chance he could be an all-time great. So if we have that, then you go, yeah, no, I'd love to be a part of that on the ground floor and see what we can build. And again, the Spurs are the type of franchise that will take care of its people. So it's also like Tim Duncan's not going to be doing charity work to do this. Manu's not doing charity. All these people are going to get paid to do this as well. They get to be part of it. Exactly.
Yeah, they
want to do it, but they're also going to get paid to do it because the Spurs will take care of them to be everyone's in the group, and those pictures with the big 3 with Wembanyama and Popovich and everything to show that, to make Spurs fans even more excited.
Yeah, everybody wins here if he's good. Like the community wins, the people working for the Spurs, the legends, Spurs. Everybody's like, no, we're all in to make sure that Wembanyama reaches his ceiling. Because if he does, the city of San Antonio is going to benefit tremendously.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't even see the economic impact of that.
The only losers are the bitter people.
Well,
that get mad because the Spurs won the lotteries, and they're like, man, just because you've been in 48 of them. I mean,
you guys are like the Hollywood Henderson of the NBA.
And
you
then
guys,
y'all win the lottery
win
all the
multiple
time.
lotteries. It's like, how the hell you gonna win multiple lotteries? Hollywood Henderson won the lottery twice, but also went to the NFL, which is like a genetic lottery. Like that dude was the luckiest human being on the planet. And then his life has been saved by the Lord. He'll tell you he's won a lottery again because God saved him from killing himself. Like, oh man,
need to hang out with him,
dude. Him and the Spurs are the luckiest teams, human beings, organizations in the state of Texas. Not even close. Yeah. Okay, how about this? Speaking of luck, real quick before we get to Texas baseball, have you heard the story about the lucky chair for the Spurs?
No.
Okay, so this is on the Zach Lowe podcast. I love this story. So they ask, after the lottery, again, Zach Lowe telling the story. He said he saw R.C. Buford, and he wanted to say hi to him. And so basically, apparently he asked him a dumb question. He said basically the dumb question was, I asked him the dumbest question, the only question, did you flash back to the Tim Duncan lottery in 1997? And he said, I was expecting some crazy, weird answer. And R.C. Buford looks at me and starts laughing and says, you're GD right, I did. I was sitting in my office when we won the 97 lottery, and I was sitting in a blue leather chair. It's my lucky chair. From that moment on, it became my lucky chair.
Yeah.
I found out we got the number 1 overall pick sitting in that blue chair. And thus, when Buford's daughter, Cece, eventually went off to college, he gifted her the blue chair. It's like, my lucky blue chair. You're my baby girl. I love you. I want you to have my blue chair. It's been good luck for me. It'll be good luck for you. And he never thought about it again. Well, how about this? On draft day, Buford arrived at the hotel room in Chicago, opened the door to the hotel room, blue chair is sitting there with a note on it. Blue Chair has a note on the chair is in the room with a card on it because it was his birthday. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, the lottery gods were like, you know what? You've gone the extra mile. It's going to be the Spurs. So basically, he's blaming his lucky chair again. The lucky chair was when they got the number. He was sitting in his lucky chair both the last 2 times that the Spurs got the number 1 overall pick.
You know, he's just rolling up to the building with a chair like, guys, I'm going to need this.
Yeah. Hey,
Wow.
We're using this chair for tonight's lottery.
Right? That lucky blue chair. He should bring that into the arena every now and then. Like, this is it, guys.
Bring
This
it
is
for
the chair.
big games. Bring it for big games.
He just sit in the blue chair.
Guys, we got this.
Hey, I
We
will
got
say,
you.
I think he's smart because he's like, you know what? I don't want to use all the luck out of this chair because we may need this again, and I don't want to do it again in a game versus in a meaningless game.
Yeah, Wembanyama's first finals, break it out. All right, how about that?
break it out
Wembanyama's
there.
first finals, we'll break it out again. All right, the Texas baseball team did not need a lucky blue chair because they broke out the brooms on West Virginia.
No doubt. They went out there and played some great baseball, top to bottom, start to finish. Any way you want to look at it, that is what the Texas Longhorn baseball team did. They went out and swept West Virginia. You had the baseball gods, as you were talking about, the luckiness, right? You sit there and you get this opportunity. You get to host West Virginia, who came in as the number 6 team in the nation. And then you go out there, you win 12-2 on Thursday, 10-4 on Friday, and 7-3 on Saturday. You go out there and you put in work and you make things happen. You only gave up 9 runs this weekend. Wow. And that is what we were talking about before, Rod. You getting it at the right time and peaking at the right time. We started the beginning of the year, didn't know what was going to happen. I came in here and y'all wanted to give me a panic button. Do we need it, Harge? Let me know. And I was like, no, let's be cool right now and just wait and see what happens. And as the conference started to happen, you started to play different teams. You started off by playing number 14, Texas Tech at the time, and you sweep them here. And then you go and play Texas A&M down in Aggie Land. You win that game. You had a tough go against Oklahoma State. Excuse me. And then you lose one game against K-State. Continued it on, lost a game against Baylor. The biggest part is when you got swept by Oklahoma.
That was bad.
A lot of people were upset. That's when get him out of here.
That was at home, right?
Yeah, that was here.
Yeah, that was bad.
We were getting blown up.
Yeah.
Blown up. And
Where's
I
the
was
panic button?
It was like, hey, they were like, you need to push that button. I was like, uh-oh, start dusting it off. See what you got. And then they played Texas Southern, went out there and beat them pretty well. Went to TCU, won 2 out of 3 there. Went to Kansas, back-to-back weekends. Went and won the series. So then it all starts to set up. But Garrett Gilmette said that loss to San Jose State in a doubleheader. That doubleheader day, they lost 6-4. They went out the next game, won 24-3, then played again, won 18-6 in 7 innings. Then West Virginia 12-2, 10-4, 7-3. They did what they needed to do, and now they're on to Globe Life. And they're getting ready to take on Kansas, 12:30. You can hear it here on the Horn. And it's just funny to me because we've had so much conversation about this team. Who's going to be replaced? And if you hadn't, our man Joe Cook did a great job of really breaking it all down on what this season was like for the Texas Longhorns and the players that they were replacing. He did a great article over there at Inside Texas, and he broke it all down. All the different roles that were distributed, too, because you got a brand new staff. Along with replacing players, you're losing coaches during this time. You're trying to recruit players to want to come to the University of Texas. You talked about it the other day when you started breaking down the NIL money. Baseball was one of the lowest ones.
10th.
They were 10th out of all the programs.
Out of all the sports.
Yes, the
10th.
baseball program was there. So you sit there and you're like, golly, how are we going to get these players? What are these players going to do? Then you go out and grab a Porter Brown from TCU, comes in and just took over for this team. And we heard at the very beginning of the year, Coach Pierce talked about Porter Brown can put a team on his back because we've seen it during the entire spring and, during the fall season and how well he played during the fall. And then you bring back a guy like Dylan Campbell, 33-game hitting streak, 39 consecutive games reaching base.
Unbelievable.
And just going out there and playing. Then you got Eric Kennedy. Then you bring in the freshman, Jared Thomas playing first base. But most importantly, the emergence of LeBaron Johnson, to me, has been the biggest help because we knew what we were going to get from Lucas Gordon. I mean, he was that guy last year. He went out there and did it. He took over the number one role. You're replacing Tanner Witt. Who's going to be the guy that's going to take Witt's spot? We got to figure it out. Well, they figured it out. They pieced it all together, and now Tanner Witt is getting more innings, and he's getting stretched out more pitches. So we'll see what happens as we go along. But the mission was accomplished for the Big 12 championship with all the uncertainties, all the replacements. But now you're in a good spot. So now they go and they got the number one seed.
Number one seed in the Big 12 turn, and they get in their side of the bracket. They get to avoid at least until they get deeper into the tournament. They get to avoid initially Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, both teams that Texas lost series to in conference play. So that's good, and that's what they deserve that because that's why they got the number one seed, get a more favorable track. But also, I love this stat in the lineup: hitters 1 through 6, all hitting at least 300 or better.
Yes.
What the?
Yes. There's no easy out.
That is crazy.
You have to be on your game every single time as a pitcher. And you know what the stress, you always hear them talk about high leverage pitches, high stress counts. You got to be able to breathe through it. They get your heart rate up.
Hey, and they work you. They work you. This 1 through 6, like no easy out at all. They just grind pitchers down.
The first inning of every game this past weekend, 3 for 3 for 3 for 3. They had 9 hits between the top 3 guys.
That makes sense.
For the entire weekend.
Put so much pressure on the opposing pitcher, man.
Yes.
That is a ton of pressure. This is not something that's been the case all year. This is just starting to peak at the right time. That's what I love about that stat.
Got to stay hot at the right time, baby.
Because there have been certain guys that have kind of found their groove and found their rhythm, but now it seems like you got like 6 guys that are all basically hitting their best right now of the entire season right now when you need them to be.
No doubt.
We'll come back. We'll get into we'll wrap this thing up and put it in the oven right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 The Horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Time to wrap it up and put it in the oven. Before we do, we'll let you know what's on tap. If you missed any part of any of the shows, please go to hornfm.com. You can catch up with them on the podcast page. All right, Harch, what's on tap for you tonight?
Going to be playing taps as the Lakers end up losing. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be watching the Lakers just get destroyed.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has the last ride. I don't know if he has one in him.
Get the Lake Show turned into the Fake Show. Patrick, what you got on tap?
Hey, man, I'm going to be watching Mo Bamba take back a game.
Oh, man.
Mo Bamba's back, guys.
It'd be amazing if he was a big difference.
Oh, if he is, I am going to lose
crazy.
it
Come on,
tomorrow.
Mo Bamba. Give us something to talk about tomorrow.
Us.
Should they play the song when he's in there? We hear the song?
Hey, we should do
No,
everything.
they're going to play taps.
Hey, give us something to talk about tomorrow, Mo.
Hopefully. All right. I'll be. I guess I'll watch some of the game.
Just watch a little bit.
They've been disappointing, and it's been hurting me a little bit. I'm a LeBron fan. You know how that goes. All right, we come back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Remember, the Revolution will not be televised. We'll be talking right about here on Ball Don't Lie. Remember, folks, we love you guys. And also remember that
Soccer Matters is
Soccer
next.
Matters coming up next. Peace.